it's 8 o'clock. Okay. I think we're live. Welcome. Hello. It seems a bit quiet. I need to put some music on, shouldn't I? Let's do that. I will be unboxing the Pyxis very soon. Where is that playlist? Now, hopefully, it's not too loud. That's too loud. Hold on. Alright, there we go. That should be better. Hopefully, I'm not too quiet. If I am, let me know. Because this mic doesn't... Actually, that music's still too loud, isn't it? So, I think we're good. I haven't streamed in so long. That's why I'm like not sure of things, because it's been quite a long time since I've streamed. Anyway, welcome. How's everybody doing? I will start unboxing the Pyxis in just a minute. I just want to make sure everything's all good first. Everything looks good there. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Jazzy, is that you? Or is that Jazz? Wait, hold on. I don't know who Jazz is. That Jazz, or is that Jazz? Is that Jazzy? I don't know which one this is. There's too many people. No. Anyway, what this video, what this stream is going to be about is this thing. This arrived today, and I have been wanting to. Actually, to be fair, spoilers, I did actually open the box earlier. It wasn't sealed, so I could just sort of... It's Jazzy just saying, oh, okay, fair enough. Been a while, hasn't it? I know I haven't streamed in forever, so... I did actually play Warzone not that long ago, though, a couple times. But, yeah, not streaming it anymore. But, yeah, good to see you, Jazzy. It's been quite a while. Yeah, anyway... So I have actually like opened this up and got the camera out and everything like that, but I put it all back for the purposes of this. And I also have a bunch of accessories that I've got that I will be like, I'll like on this stream, I will like rig up the camera as much as I can right now. Cause like I don't have a cage or anything for this. I did, ask Condor Blue if they can send me one. They have not got back to me yet, but I think I'll be able to rig it up enough that it'll be totally usable. It just won't be as good as if I had like a full cage and everything on it, because the way that I would want to rig this up, I would want to put rosette handles straight onto the cage, and I have rosette handles. I just have to attach them to the rails because I don't, or the rods, sorry, because I don't have any way to put a rosette directly on the body. But before we go through this, I'm gonna put this out of the way. I'll just quickly go through the other stuff that I got for this. So this got shipped on Monday. It's now Wednesday, and so pretty quick. In that time, I also got some accessories specifically for this, because there's some things that, you know, I didn't have to make this camera usable. One thing, now this wasn't necessary, but I kind of think it is. This is a 90mm NATO rail. I have a couple of 50mm ones, but the way that the mounting points on this camera work, it makes sense to have a longer one, especially since I don't have a cage. So I needed something to be able to mount a handle to the top of the camera. Also, I've ordered a battery, but I don't have it yet. Blackmagic told me, oh, actually, yeah, I'll go through how this all sort of happened in a minute, but they told me that they're not allowed to ship batteries with the camera. And again, I'll go through why I have this and how I have this sort of thing. Spoilers, I didn't buy it, but I do have to give it back, and I'll explain all that in a sec. But they're not allowed to send batteries, or they can't send batteries or whatever. So I ordered a battery. I just got a BPU 35. It's on its way. It's not here yet. But I did get a LEMO or a D-tap to LEMO cable, so I can at least just plug it into one of my V-mounts and it'll be fine. So you don't need a battery for this, but I still wanted to, even though I'll be using it powered via the V-mount, I still want to be able to have a battery in the camera so it can still be charged, or so it can keep charging. So if I do need to change the battery, like the V-mount, then it'll keep powered on. I feel like there was something else. There was this, there was that. Oh, there was this, which is Nisi PL to L adapter. I was a bit worried that this wasn't going to arrive until next week because Amazon said it wasn't going to arrive until next week, but then it arrived before or at the same time as all the other stuff yesterday. So I don't know what that's about. But L to PL adapter, because I don't have any L mount lenses, and to adapt my PL lenses I obviously need an adapter. So got that one. I want to get a Mofage Poco, but this is like 30-40% the price. So I went with that for now, and at some point I'll probably get a Mofage or maybe another adapter with built-in filters. The other thing, and honestly the most expensive thing, was the CF Express Type B card, because I don't have any CF Express Type B because I've never used a camera that uses them, or I've never owned a camera that, wait, hold on. May 15th. Okay, no, that's fine. My internet is having maintenance, but it's next week, so it's fine. I've never used any, well, I haven't not used, I've used a Red Komodo X, but that wasn't mine. I only used it for one project, and I was ACing. I wasn't even really operating that much. With, yeah, so CF Express Type B, I had no CF Express Type B cards. I only had some SD cards and CF Express Type A, so I need to get a new card. Hopefully, I'm waiting to hear back from ProGrade. Hopefully they send me a couple of either faster or potentially bigger ones, because in B-RAW, even at 12:1, like 1 terabyte is only a few hours of footage, whereas on my Sony's, in this camera right here, I've got a 960 gig card that lasts like, what, 14 hours or something like that. So yeah, so I'm hopefully I can get some more cards. But I just got a 1 terabyte gold ProGrade card, because it actually, they're like, also these are cheaper than CF Express Type A. CF Express Type B is so cheap compared to Type A. And then lastly, before I open the box, I'm gonna open the box. I just went and got, actually I can take the mic with me, it's wireless. Ha! I just got these, basically I'm borrowing these from somebody that I know, shout out Kenny. Borrowing these, I guess, cinemodded contact size lenses. They're basically like old, yeah, contact size lenses that have, they at least have a gear on the focus ring. So yeah, and then I just have and they're like CY mount or something like that. I don't actually know what cameras that mounts to, but I have an L mount adapter for these, so I can, oh my gosh, calm down. Sorry, just getting emails really loud. Is the music too loud? Actually, can anyone tell me if the music is too loud? It feels too loud. What do I have it at? I'm gonna turn it down to 10%. So I'll be able to use these lenses on it, and the reason that I was happy that it just worked out that I could borrow these, because I only have the Blazar 33mm and the Blazar Remus 33mm and the Nisi Athena 40mm. Those are my only PL lenses, and I have no L mount lenses, obviously, because I don't have any L mount cameras. So it kind of limited me to like, okay, I will only have 2 lenses I can use, and I meant to be shooting a short film next weekend, and I want to shoot on this, and it would have not necessarily sucked, because I could do it. I could shoot on just the 40mm, or potentially even just the 33mm Remus, but it's definitely gonna be a lot better to be able to use multiple focal lengths, sort of thing. So luckily I am able to borrow these for a little bit, at least for that film next week, and then yeah, I just adapted to this. After that, I'll probably just use my PL lenses for the most part. I would like to get more, but I don't have any more right now. What we'll do, I'll unbox it, and then if anyone's interested, I can explain how I actually have this and all that sort of stuff. So as you can see, wait, where is it? This box is a little damaged. It it must have got damaged in shipping, or maybe it was already damaged before they shipped it, because this is actually a loan unit from Blackmagic. Blackmagic Australia, or like their Australian division. They're an Australian company, but like they obviously have, you know, an American division and, you know, all the continents and whatever. So the Australian portion of Blackmagic has some that they, you know, send out to creators and stuff. So this is technically a review unit. In top here, sorry, I'm distracting myself. That means that I do have to send it back. So I have to send this back in like 6 weeks. So unfortunately, it's not just new camera, cool, now I just have a Pyxis. I do have to send it back. But I'm going to try and shoot as much as I can on it while I have it. If you're unaware, all Blackmagic cameras come with DaVinci Resolve Studio. Super nice. I already have DaVinci Resolve Studio because I bought the speed editor a couple years ago. So this is unnecessary. That's kind of a weird thing about like how all Blackmagic, like most Blackmagic hardware products come with DaVinci Resolve. If you buy one, great. Then if you buy another one, you just get another copy, which sort of feels a bit weird because like you don't need multiple copies because one license will work on 2 devices. I don't know. In the top there was also the SSD side plate, which these like interchangeable side plates bolt onto the side of the camera, and then it's just got a strap there for, you know, to hold an SSD on there, because you can record to an SSD out of the USB port, the USB-C port on the back of this camera. I probably won't do that because, you know, I just got the CF Express Type A card. CF Express Type A still seems a little bit easier for me unless I happen to have, and I don't, some like, you know, T7s or T9s or whatever, like external SSDs, but I just don't have any of those. I use an M.2 SSD in an enclosure, and it might work, but I also don't trust that anymore because I'm pretty sure it's QLC and it has slowed down, which is not ideal. This box is just like all the power adapter stuff. As I said before, I have actually opened this today, but I put it all back because this is an unboxing. So it comes with like a wall charger and then all the different like all different plugs for different countries. So you can at least power it plugged into the wall. If you don't have battery, because it doesn't ship with a battery. That's the thing with like the Cinema Camera 6K, the full frame, which has the same sensor as this, that would ship with a battery because they just take like NPF 550 batteries, I think. Whereas these ones, they take BPUs and you can't, for some reason, they can't ship them with them. So it doesn't include a battery, but at least you can plug it into the wall. And like that, so that was in there, and then here's the camera. Like that's it, that's all that's in there. Honestly, first impressions from when I got it out earlier was it's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Like this is the standard side plate that comes on it. If you want to take those screws off, then you can put that SSD side plate. You can also get the rosette side plate, which has a rosette on there, so you can attach a rosette handle. And honestly, that's kind of what I would like to do. Get a rosette on here, and then get one of those, like, I know there's a small rig one that would work quite well, where it's just like a wooden handle and it attaches via a rosette there. So that would be pretty good. Then you could use it kind of like how the FX6 handle just attaches to the FX6. Although, all that being said, I think ideally for the rig that I would want to build with like no restrictions would be rosette handle on the front left and a rosette handle on the back right. That just gives you a little bit more control. And it's kind of what I do with my FX30 rig, or A7IV if I use that, but generally it's the FX30, where I have a rosette handle on the left a bit further in front next to the lens, and then I'll just have my other hand on the camera grip itself. But yeah, let's have a look at that sensor real quick. So this is the L-mount version. You get a good reflection. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's a speck of dust right there. I see that. There's some dust on there. I'll get that off. Oh. There we go. There's your new thumbnail. This is so exciting. Message, okay. Halogenic, I see you sent a message and then deleted it. Yeah. Now, they didn't tell me anything about this screen here, so I'm gonna take the peel off. Maybe I'll put it back on before I ship it back to them. But yeah, this is one of the big things that everyone was talking about when it came out, was the side screen. It's like, oh, it's a screen on the side. How am I gonna see that? And then I've also heard other people, since using it, they're like, it actually is kind of nice, because then I can like do stuff on it without being in the way, especially if you're like first AC, if you're like changing settings on the side of the camera rather than on the top of the camera in front of the monitor and stuff like that. But a camera like this, you're not going to use it without a monitor, so you would put a monitor on the top anyway. Yes, it would probably be nice if it flipped open like the Ursa Cine monitor does, like on the left side, it just like flips out and fully articulates. That would be cool, but that would also make this bigger. Yeah, so if you're unaware, this is the Pyxis 6K. It has the same sensor as the cinema camera 6K, the full frame one, not the pocket. This is the L-mount version. On the front, you've got a mini XLR port. Where are we? There. Mini XLR right there. Little annoying. I actually don't have any mini XLR stuff, so I would need to get a mini XLR to XLR adapter or cable or something. However, I so rarely use XLR now, especially that I have these mics. Like, I have a pair of Comica VM40s. They sound really good. They honestly, they kind of sound better than my Rode NTG1, which, to be fair, is a pretty old mic. But I prefer using these, one, because they record 32-bit float, and the only ways that I currently can get 32-bit float is either directly into these or directly in the Wireless Pro. So I usually just use this. I'll boom it, like, just over my head, sort of here, for YouTube stuff. And then anything that requires a lav, I'll use the Wireless Pro. But yeah, mini XLR there, and then there's a viewfinder port there, which has a little locking, there's like a hole to put the locking ones in there. So when you get the Pyxis monitor or the or the Ursa viewfinder, the USB-C cable that comes with it, you can plug it in, and it has a little like screw that goes into there to lock it in so you can't pull it out. I did ask if I can get a Pyxis monitor. I think they might be getting back to me about accessories. I'm not sure, because I think they're separate to the camera itself. I don't know. Not a big deal, because I have an SDI monitor, it's fine. But having the Pyxis monitor could be cool, because it's like a lot smaller, and then this could be a really small package rather than, I'll show you in a second, put my Porky's HS8 on here, which is a pretty big monitor. But yeah, so that's the front. That's pretty much it on the front. On the top and the bottom, you've got obviously a bunch of mounting points, and this is one of the benefits to having a box-shaped camera like this. Bunch of mounting points on the top, 3/8 and 1/4-20. Same on the bottom, so you can mount like your tripod plates and stuff like that. It would be nice if there were more mounting points on the side here, but I guess that's the whole point of the plate. I know at least with the Condor Blue cage, they have a replacement plate that you would like screw on there, and then that has a bunch of mounting points, has some NATO rails, stuff like that. Cold shoes even. But yeah, that would probably be the one thing on this side. There's nothing there, and it's a little annoying that you would have to, like, even just to get the rosette plate that comes with this, you still have to buy the plate, because the plate comes separately. Yeah, on the left side, now this is the operator side, I guess, because there is nothing on the AC side like a bigger cinema camera would have. There's a better angle. Alright, big red record button. There is only one, which I feel like on a camera like this there should be two, at least, maybe even three. I think it would be good to have one on the side, like I feel like this is fine, and then also having one either on the top or like on the front, like on the Red Komodo X. There's one on the side, I'm pretty sure, maybe it's on the top, can't remember. But then there's also one on the front. So like just having multiple, it's one of the things I like about the FX30. It's got the big record button on the top, it's got the record button on the front, and then you can obviously use the shutter button as a record button. But this one only has one, which hopefully is fine. Now this is obviously a cinema camera, but oddly enough, it has a photo button, which you know, kind of an odd thing to put on there, but yeah, I don't know. I can't remember how many megapixels it is. It's like 20, well 6K, it's like 26 megapixels, something like that. 26 megapixels, and it just takes like a B-raw still, so it's not like a raw photo. It's a still from a raw video, but it only takes 1 frame. But you still have, you know, 12-bit B-raw, so it's not gonna be like 16-bit that I think most photo raw formats are, I think. Don't quote me on that, I don't know. But yeah, so it'll be 12-bit, still, little wheel there, and looks like an iris button and something else. I can't actually, what is that other one? What is that? There's a plus in a little circle. I don't know what that is. We'll have to find out when I turn on. Down the bottom, bunch of other buttons, you know, controls for while shooting. There's, what is that, 3 function buttons, white balance, shutter, ISO, looks like focus, magnifier, menu, and then some like playback buttons. Oh, and high frame rate button. That's nice. Just having a high frame rate button. It's the same as like, I think at least, it would be the same as having like the S&Q modes in, what? I just realized I'm shooting on the FX30 and I kept gesturing over there when I was talking about it. It's right here. On Sony cameras, they have the S&Q mode, so you can just like switch on the A7 IV that I have here. You can just like, there's a little dial underneath the mode dial, so with my finger there I can just adjust it, and then now it's in video mode. It was in photo, and we switch it again to S&Q. I actually have programmed one of the buttons on the FX30 to press it, just switch straight to S&Q mode, so then I can go straight into high frame rate. And yeah, so it looks like this. You can do the same thing. You just press a button and it switches to whatever you set that high frame rate mode to be. So if you're normally shooting in 24 or 25 FPS and you're like, I need to shoot in 50 or 60, you can do that. One of the downsides with this camera though, well, I guess with this sensor, because this doesn't happen with the 12K sensor in the Pyxis 12K that isn't out yet, obviously, but the Pyxis 12K and the Ursa Cine 12K is changing resolutions. Well, I guess actually you do, yeah, changing resolutions. It doesn't crop in on those. On this, if you change resolution at all, it'll crop in. So going from 6K to 4K, it'll crop in a fair bit. Whereas on the 12K, you can go 12K, 8K, 4K, all full frame, and then 9K is Super 35. But with frame rates, obviously the higher the resolution, the lower the max frame rate is. But that's just sort of, that's gonna be, like, for the most part, inevitable with pretty much any camera. But with this one, yeah, it's annoying. It's like you can shoot up to a certain frame rate at a resolution, and if you want to shoot at a higher frame rate, you have to decrease resolution, and by decreasing resolution, you also decrease your field of view, which is a little bit annoying. It'd be nice if you could just oversample it, but obviously there's going to be limitations with everything here. Also, one thing I noticed on the bottom is like these little rubber feet. No one's ever talked about that in anything I've ever heard about this camera. No one's ever mentioned the little rubber feet on the bottom. So if you don't put a tripod plate or anything on this, you can just put it down and it's like nice and soft. It's not just like putting metal straight on a table. That's not a big deal at all, but just a little thing that no one's ever mentioned. Or maybe it'd be for like if you're putting like a dovetail on here, maybe it would fit a bit better. Anyway, back of the camera, and then we'll start building it after this. So on this side, power, so it's 2-pin LEMO, hence this cable. Also, if all of the accessory, I should put I will put all the links to everything in the description of the things that I got for this, like this cable, and yes, I got those links, I just haven't put them in the description. So power, you got Ethernet right here, RJ45. I think you could, if you want to plug this into a computer with Ethernet, you could then transfer the footage straight off, but because this takes CF Express Type B, it should be fine. You've got time code, so the BNC port here for time, can you focus please? For time code or for ref like reference in, it says right there, and then you've got SDI, which is 12G SDI, no HDMI, which, you know, it maybe, I think it would be nice if there was HDMI and SDI like the FX6 has, or even just 2 SDI. However, I kind of have, like, the gear that I have kind of works that I don't necessarily need that. 1 SDI will be fine. And then you got a USB-C port at, can we focus? Thank you. USB-C port at the top, which that's what you'd plug your SSD into if you're going to record straight to an SSD. As far as I know, there's not much else that does. And I'm pretty sure I heard with the 12K Pyxis, so with the newer one, that's a better port. And I think the Ethernet port is better as well than in this one. But apparently, so because it has the viewfinder USB-C port at the front here, that supplies both power and data to the Pyxis monitor or the Ursa viewfinder. And what I was thinking, and what I'm going to test when I build this, is that supplies power. So hopefully it can supply power to a focus motor. So that means that I can put my Nucleus Nano 2 right on there and have a really short cable that goes to the front of the camera and straight into the focus motor, and not have to run a cable like all the way from like here where the lens would be and then all the way back to the battery. That's what I'm hoping to be able to do, and I'm going to test that very, very soon. Anyway, does anybody have any opinions? Should I put on the LPL mount adapter, or should I put on the CY to PL CY to L adapter and use these contact size lenses? I haven't used these at all. My PL lenses I obviously have used before. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let me grab the other adapter. That's NEX. Okay, this one. So this is just from K&F Concept. Again, so the guy that I'm borrowing these off just has these, so he can attach it to L-mount cameras, and then there's another one for E-mount. So let's see. Hopefully this all works. One thing that is different that I found with L-mount versus E-mount is obviously the so the little button's like in the same spot, but the dot is in a different spot. That doesn't matter, it's just different. But I already showed you the sensor before, didn't I? Yeah. So let's put that on there. Now will that just go? Interesting. So this, that seems so dumb. This red dot right here, focus, this red dot does not line up with that red dot at any point. Anyway, what lens should we try? 28, 18, 50, or 85? Let's go with the 28. 28 is an f2.8. The 18 is an f4. Alright, now I gotta figure out how the hell a CY mount works. Did I do it right the first time? Oh, I did. Okay. So these are, so these are like modded, like vintage photo lenses, I guess. And yeah, they look a little goofy. Not something I would buy. I don't know why. And like, obviously the glass is the same, but even in things like the iron glass Soviet cinema lenses, I wouldn't want to get ones that look like this. I'd want to get the actual like the rehoused ones, because they just look better. I know the image doesn't look any different, but it's just something about this. It's just like, you know, not as exciting. Just doesn't feel the same. Anyway, we have a 28mm lens on there. Now we need to power this. Before we do that, I'm going to put a handle on. So that's why I got the 90mm actually, before I do this, let me really quickly just add stuff to the description. So if anyone is interested in any of the like accessories, I guess, that I'm talking about, then you can. There's obviously links to other things in the description. Let me find. Okay, so we got. Okay. Well, I guess I didn't put the. What handle? The handle that's over there. I haven't got the handle yet. There is no handle yet. Alright. Cool. Alright, so I've just put the links to everything except I was gonna put the link for this in there, but I haven't got the link. Maybe I'll add that later. But this is just a 90mm. There is a link to small rig in general if you wanted to go look for this. It's the 90mm knitter rail, and I got this because this camera has these two holes at the front, so this one and this one. And because I don't have a cage, how am I going to attach a handle? Knitter rail. So I'm going to put that on there. Unfortunately, you can't see this. Sorry about that. I would have liked to have another camera here, maybe have like a top-down angle, but that's a lot to set up, and then I would have had like a C-stand above me and all that sort of stuff, and yeah. It was enough just setting up the lighting for this, because I haven't shot a video at this desk in this position yet. So, yeah. Alright, knitter rail on the top there, and then I'm going to grab my monitor. Maybe I should actually put a battery on first. I'm going to put a battery on first. So to put the battery on first, I need to attach a quick release plate to my tripod, because the base plate that I've got takes a Manfrotto. So if I put this one here, is that gonna reach? Does it reach? I think it just reaches. I don't know if it likes it though. I don't think it likes it. Hold on. And now I can't get it off. That's annoying. Anyway, I'm just putting a... Oh no, that's fine. That should be fine. Okay, never mind. Good thing I left this out. If you haven't seen this, this is the small rig film. I know I sound like I'm like advertising everything. I'm not, but I am, but I'm not. Kind of am, but this is pretty good. The one thing that I don't like about this, right, is that the flathead is too wide. It's just like having a wide flathead is really good for a lot of screws, but some screws, they're just not wide enough for this screwdriver. So yeah, it's just a little bit annoying. Okay. Also, I guess that doesn't fit. Okay, so I'm gonna have to put it closer, I guess. Let's go. I want to put them right next to each other. I guess I kind of have to. Anyway. And we'll see. I could move this whole thing forward. I'll show you in a second where it is. I could move this forward one, or I guess two screw holes. But honestly, it fits on the body quite well. It's more just like, would I want it sticking out the front, which probably not. But we'll see. Okay. So, tripod plate on there. And now I need to get the base plate, which what I like about sort of how I rig my cameras with the stuff that I've got here is I don't really need to take this apart, right? I don't have to take the rods out. I don't have to take the handles off. I can leave the handle attached to... If I do want to take the handles off, it's easy. I don't have to like unscrew anything. And I like just leave this Condor Blue V-mount Pro on there at all times. But this is the Tilta dual base plate, so it's Arca Swiss and Manfrotto. So I'll put the Manfrotto side in there. That's pretty much perfect, exactly where it is. So let's just screw that on there. Cool. All right. we have what looks more like a rig now. And then now we'll do is I'll add a battery. And I'm gonna use the small rig VB212. I have no idea how long this is gonna last. That's a bit back heavy. That's so funny that like this battery is just so big, and it's like it's not even the biggest female batteries you can get, but for a camera this size, it's on the larger side. But once I add a monitor, it should be fine. So female battery on there. I will power the monitor. One of the good things about the V-mount Pro, and every single time I talk about the V-mount Pro from Condor Blue, I talk about this, is the 3-pin D-tap ports. It means you can put your D-tap cable up, so we can go that way, or, down. So if you want to do that, you can do that. If you want them to go up for whatever reason, you just put in the other two. So there's 3, the middle one always gets used, and then it's like, if you want up or down, you choose. I'm gonna have it pointing down. I don't think I'll need that USB-C port on the side, so down should be fine. And then gonna wrap. Okay, I'll wrap. The annoying thing is I couldn't find a cable that's like, I wanna say like 10 to 20 centimeters long. Maybe not 10, maybe more like, yeah, 20 centimeters long. That would be a good length, I think, for a cable like this, because look how far it's going. It's going from here to here. It does not need to go very far. This was sort of the shortest but like decent quality cable, and also I like the right angle, and I like that it's nice and flexible, so I can just sort of curl it up as much as I need. I was gonna get a Condor Blue one, but I don't think I would have been able to get one quick enough, whereas this one I literally got in a day or 2 days, because I got it on Amazon. Whereas like if I got something from Condor Blue, it would have taken like a week, because everything from Condor Blue comes from the US, and it just takes a while. So unless shops already have it in stock, and a lot of shops didn't have it in stock. So cable plugged in there. I will maybe figure out something else about like where am I gonna wrap this cable. I could potentially put a monitor tie somewhere to sort of hold. Actually, wait, I have a monitor. I literally have a monitor tie right here. Let's see if I can use that. The annoying thing is now, actually, does anyone know, anyone in the chat, do you know if 2-pin LEMO cables, because it's right angle, can I somehow adjust the angle? Is it something I can loosen to then turn this so then it sticks out up rather than down or sideways or something like that? Because right now it sticks down, which works for like all the ports on the Pyxis. But I don't know how often I'm ever going to plug in an Ethernet cable to this, so I could have it go up and then come back around, or I could just go around the bottom like that and then through the monitor tie. Now, is it going to be long enough to do that? No, it's not. Okay, well, let's not do that then. We'll just run it through the middle for now, and then I'll just wrap it around the rod there, so it's like nice and snug. Cool, that's fine. So the red cable is it, and actually, like, honestly, wasn't originally like a big fan of the idea of just having a red cable, especially since I have like multiple like Condor Blue cables that are blue, and then obviously black cables that just sort of wrap around. So true. Oh, one thing I'm just noticing. Nah, that should be fine. We're gonna find out if that's gonna be a problem in a minute. What was I saying? I got distracted. The red cable, yeah. One thing that can be beneficial is like if you have your power cable or your SDI cable a different color to everything else, it can be really easy to be like, okay, that cable needs to come unplugged, because this has a 12G SDI port, meaning you got to be careful when you're plugging power in to stuff. So if you don't know, SDI, you like use BNC cables, and BNC can shooting with mine today. Oh hell yeah! Do you have a? I assume that means you have a Pyxis 6K. I would. I'm definitely interested in it. What sort of rig do you have it as, because like I'm really interested in like how people have their cameras rigged. I really like rigging up cameras. So yeah, like how do you have yours rigged? Is it like really built out? Is it really minimal? Anyway, what we'll do is, SDI cable's over there. So I'm going to have to, because I only have two. No, technically I have 3 SDI cables. I have this really thin, short one, which I use to plug to go from the monitor to the transmitter that's right here. Then I have this is a 3G one, because this monitor is only 3G. Then on my on my receiver to my director's monitor, I have a 12G SDI cable. But I'm going to have to use that 12G cable to go here, because I don't think this will be long enough. And also, I'll want to still keep this here on this short one, because I'm still going to use it this way. So I'm going to need that thick cable over there in a sec, because the only other SDI cable I have is really long. It came with my director's monitor, and it's really long. Anyway, so this setup is just a small rig. What's this? NATO rail top handle. It's a lightweight one. I'm hoping it's going to be fine. If not, I do have another stronger one that they don't make anymore. The wooden, like, rotating one. I do have that if I need to. I'm going to unplug this HDMI cable because I don't need it. Get out of here, HDMI. So, if we slide this on here, I'm going to put that right on the middle. And actually, I guess one of the benefits of having such a long NATO rail on top here is I can slide the handle left or right if I need, depending on how I need to run it. So that's handy. Now, the one thing I'm a little annoyed about, and just is annoying in general, is the fact that, especially if you have a monitor at the front, you got a battery at the back, you have to run a cable all the way from the front to the back. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that. I don't really like that. What I might do, I have a Mondo tie there. So also, if you don't know about Mondo ties, they're pretty handy. I have one right here. I'm going to move that out of the way. No, don't focus on me. Right here. Focus on that. Right here, Mondo tie. Just little cable management stuff. Have the Ursa top handle, rosette plate, and DJI Focus Pro, plus the monitor kit. Oh, hell yeah, that sounds like a nice little kit. So when I like was talking to Blackmagic about this, because if you weren't here when I said it, they did send it to me, but I do have to send it back. It is a loan. I did ask for the rosette plate, and actually basically everything you said except the DJI Focus Pro, obviously. So the Ursa top handle, which may not be necessary now because I just got this NATO rail specifically for this. The rosette plate, I did ask for a rosette plate, top handle, and the Pyxis monitor. I don't know yet whether they're gonna send them, because I think it's just separate to the body itself. Oh, I also forgot real quick, I got distracted. On this side now, you're not gonna see this super well. Right here, so we've got a mic input, a headphone output, and then the 2 CF Express Type B card slots, which I understand now people like complaining about this like little mechanism. I will definitely talk about this in videos that I do. I have a bunch of video ideas for this in the time that I have it. I'll definitely make like a first impressions. That'll be probably next week. There'll be like a first impressions video, and I'll probably talk about that, and then I'll probably do like a review after having it for a month and a half, and that'll probably come out after I've sent this back. But anyway, yeah, so there's the 2 CF Express Type B slots in there. It's nice that it has 2, although I currently only have 1 CF Express Type B card. And BPU battery, I mentioned that before. And actually, this sort of works out perfectly. This little gap, right? This is the sort of gap I want to see, because I can put the BPU battery in here, so in this slot here. BPU battery, I ordered a BPU 35, which I think shouldn't stick out nearly this far. So I reckon it won't stick out much at all. So that gap I think will be good. Enough that I can like get in there if I need to, or I can like, you know, easily plug in SDI, or potentially even take the battery out, I'm not sure. But I've seen a lot of people using Pyxises with like big, long BPU batteries, and then also putting a V-mount on the back. It's like, I understand if you're gonna use a big BPU battery instead of a V-mount, that makes sense. Get like a 100 watt BPU battery, sure. But then if you're gonna put a V-mount on anyway, why not just get either no battery at all, because you don't need a battery, or just get like a little one. And that's why I ordered a 35, because it's like the smallest you can get. I think technically you can get a 30. I think the 35 might just be an updated version of the 30, not like a bigger one. Anyway. Oh yeah, so one thing about this, like I was talking about before with the audio, with the mini XLR on the front, probably not going to use them. Like, I don't have any mini XLR cables or adapters, but honestly I don't think that's a big deal, because I mainly just would use either the Comica VM40 or the Rode Wireless Pro, and just plug the receiver straight into this anyway, and not even use the internal recording, because I'll use the like the internal recording from the mics themselves. Anyway, so what we're going to do, I'm going to leave this unplugged. I'll grab the transmitter. So if you don't know, I know I keep saying that. Anyway, actually, wait, I was figuring out how I'm going to plug this monitor in. Maybe it would make sense to plug the monitor in on this side here, because then I can run it along the top. I could put a Mondo tire like right here, and then hold it down so it's not in the way of the grip. Well, it's kind of in the way of the grip. I don't really like that. However, it's not quite long enough to stay out of the way if I run it all the way down to the other. Yeah, so I don't really like that. I keep going to this side to grab a handle here, but there's no handle. So what I've done here, I don't really like that. I'm not a big fan, but this cable isn't long enough to do anything else. And honestly, I think this is the longest cable that I have. Now I could potentially, what if I do that? That could work. Okay, I'm thinking I could do that. Hold on. Okay, this isn't ideal, but it may be one of the best things that I can do right now. So, DC cable from the monitor, run it down. I'll put a Mondo tie right here in this 1/4-20 hole, and then I can run it through the Mondo tie on the top of the camera, on the top of the V-mount plate, which maybe I should turn around, and then run down to the D-tab here, pointing up, and as I was talking about before, you can switch it up or down, but yeah, so that should be fine. And honestly, maybe I even put a Mondo tie rather than here. Hold on, let's see if you can see it. Damn face detect. Why you gotta be so good? Rather than putting the Mondo tie here, what if I put it like in the middle? So then the cable can run more towards the middle rather than, yeah, okay. So that'll be something that I'll figure out. Oh, will that go under there? Come on. Alright, for now, that's fine. What do we need next? Transmitter. So Holyland Pyro S. I'm gonna go on. I'm also probably gonna do a full like rig build video for this camera, although that'll depend whether or not I get more rigging stuff, because with this sort of stuff, like honestly, like building it this way is totally fine. The only thing that's really missing is a handle on the right side. I have a couple ideas for that, of things that I could do right now without getting any extra gear. Although I think ideally I would like I said earlier, if I could get another rosette handle somehow attached towards the back, so I could go right hand here, or I can attach a rosette handle straight to the rosette plate on the side here, like that. However, this plate, I could maybe just put a NATO rail on there and just put a NATO handle, and that might work reasonably well. The other option is this Condor Blue kit for handles. I have the other handle that can just go on the side, so I could just have both handles like this, which I think should work fine. I had that on my FX30 for a while, but then I realized that it was better to just have one hand a bit further back, and then I can also press all the buttons. Whereas with this one, the left hand presses all the buttons because there's no buttons on the right. So maybe that'll work. Anyway, we've got the monitor plugged in. We've got the transmitter on there. I'm not going to plug in the SDI cable yet. We've got that plugged in. Batteries on there. Let's get, where is it? Oh, I'll get the SDI cable actually. So this is sort of my setup. Quick side note. Where can I put this? So, that's too in the way. This is my director's monitor setup. One thing that I find annoying about this director's monitor, which I'm pretty sure I talked about in my video about it, there's no mounting points. There's a mounting point on either side, and that's it. There's one quarter 20 on either side. Technically, there's two quarter 20s on the bottom, but they're for the feet. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to plug this in by HDMI, because I do, yeah, unless I want to use a really long SDI cable, but I'm not gonna do that. So, 12G SDI, I'm gonna plug it into the monitor, but not the camera. Don't plug it in both ends until power is, it doesn't have to be on, my understanding, it doesn't have to be on, it just has to be attached, like grounded, because, where can that go? Now I gotta figure out where the SDI cable's gonna go. What I'll try, can't even, wow, okay. Downside to having, you know, a thicker SDI cable here is it's not as maneuverable. So if I put it on that way, one thing about this monitor, which I don't think I've really talked about, Pyxis HS8, especially compared to other monitors like, actually some other Pyxis ones, like what's the like top of the line Pyxis monitor that like everybody uses? I can't remember. I don't really want to do that. Yeah, so this cable is just way too long. So what I can do, actually, can I shove it in that? Can I put it in this monitor tie? That way, maybe. Is that gonna work? Cool. Okay, that kind of works. And then I'll leave that there and I'll plug that in once everything's sorted. And then we have SDI for the transmitter. Whoa, where are we? There. Let's move this mic out of the way. Okay. What am I forgetting? Okay, and then the next thing we've got SDI attached, except not attached at both ends. Audio, I don't know how I'll do audio on here if I run audio like directly on here and not just a wireless one. Because if I do a wireless either with the VM40 or with the Wireless Pro, I can just put the receiver like right on the back of the top handle, plug it in right here, so my cable's just going right here. That's fine. Unfortunately, there's like no other places to mount a little clip-on receiver, so it's a little annoying, but yeah, should be fine. Cool. Next thing is the follow focus. Once I've got this all built and turned on, I'll actually like turn it on and go through everything. But I might even try to connect it. Okay. The only way that I can think to, because I want to try to like shoot through this for the stream, on this stream. So I will probably have to unplug this camera. Maybe I'll plug the other one in by USB to have like a temporary like webcam one. But yeah, yeah, so I want to see how I can go with it. Maybe I should have put on the 18mm lens, but she should be fine with 28. Okay, nucleus nanotube motor. I'm going to put it on the right side. It just barely reaches. Look at that. If we can get some lighting in here. I probably should have lit this a little better when it comes to like showing the product sort of thing, because yeah, right here is a bit dark. Maybe I can just turn this. I literally have a tube for this reason right here. Maybe I should just turn it up a bit. But this, not ideal because it does actually just sort of fall, but it should be fine. So I can attach that, get this out of the way so you can actually see stuff. Not that you can see the camera right now, but. So what I want to do with, oh, I don't like that. It's, honestly, like it needs to go like 0.5 millimeter up. It just needs to be that much taller. So I can attach, I could attach a, that'd be annoying, I don't want to do that. Okay. So basically what I could do is I could not use this base plate, I guess. Alright, that seems to be working. It's not ideal, but as long as it's tight enough, it should be fine. So I've just put that on there, right here. Now, actually, side note, and I'm having a lot of side notes here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, and I still haven't contacted Tilter about this, but if you look in that USB-C port, you probably can't see it, especially on the stream, because YouTube's probably wrecking the quality. Yeah, you can't really tell the difference there. But, oh, actually, you can. So you can see there's a line straight through the bottom one. There's no line on the top one because it got like ripped out. It got stuck in the cable and it got all ripped out. So that top USB-C port doesn't work now. And I need to contact Tilter about that and see what the deal is. But what I want to do, and I'm hoping this works, is if I can power the, you just got a screen full of back of monitor right there. What I'm hoping I can do is use this, like I think it's like 8.5 inch USB-C cable to power the focus motor, so I don't need to run a cable all the way back to the battery plate. So now the question is, like, do I use the right angle one down the bottom there, maybe, or do I use the right angle one on the camera itself? Either is kind of fine, although it'll stick out more if I do it that way. So I'm going to try, and again, I don't know how well this will work. Kind of works. Okay, and then I'll plug this into the viewfinder port, which is there. So then that, hopefully, should just work. Kind of looks a little bit silly, especially with a lens that isn't particularly big. But once we turn it on, we're going to find out if that actually works. Otherwise, I'll just run a longer cable back to the battery plate, and it should be fine. But I think it should work. I have heard other people power things with that port. Now, this isn't like the Ursa Cine 12K, which has like multiple USB-C ports like hidden along the top of the body. But yeah, I'm sort of gonna hope that works for this. All right, and then I have that. I think we're pretty much ready to turn this on and see how it goes. So I'm gonna switch on the battery plate. Ugh, that's annoying. That D-tap cable is just a little bit in the way of the switch. Okay, plate is on, power's connected, monitor's on. Cool. Now I can plug stuff in. I'm gonna plug in this SDI. Oh, but the battery plate's just slightly in the way. That's annoying. Okay, well, let's slide it back slightly. Okay, we'll put it down out of the way. And maybe we'll just leave a slightly bigger gap for now. I can adjust that. So put that in there, and then I'll plug in this SDI, which honestly I've never had any issues with this little SDI cable. Like, one, it's 3G, and two, it's only going from a monitor to a receiver or a transmitter. Never had any issues with it. However, I did have an issue with my director's monitor, and I may or may not have fried the SDI 1 on that, but I can't confirm that. I don't know. I haven't really tested. I just switched to SDI 2, and I just haven't changed it since, because I never really need multiple inputs, because I only ever shoot on one camera at a time that can... Oh, actually, I only have one transmitter receiver set, so yeah, that's why. Okay, everything should be plugged in, so if we switch this on, oh, we're on. There's image. Okay, and then I've got to switch to SDI input on monitor. Okay. Well, that's an in, right? Yeah, SDI in, input. Okay, so we have an image on the screen here. That's good. I wonder if that's the I'll turn this on so I can focus it properly. Now I don't know. Whoa. Oh, okay, that's gonna be annoying. I'm gonna see if this is fine. I may have to do something else about this focus motor with these lenses in particular. Although, because it can check stuff. Anyway, alright, so we're at 24 FPS, 180 shutter, ISO 400, white balance 5600, 10. Okay, I need to figure out why this SDI is not working. Because that's plugged in. That's plugged in. Didn't already have a fried fried SDI port before, right? I'm a little confused. Because if this SDI port doesn't work, then I kind of can't monitor with this camera because, you know, the side screen. I mean, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna have to figure that out, and I wonder why it's not working. So I've got the SDI in with that cable. SDI out goes to that, but that shouldn't affect it. What we can maybe try is, now wait, hold on, I'll see if I can turn this so you can actually see the menu while I look at it. I put it on something. Not really. Alright. I got too many things on this desk. It's kind of in the way, but we're gonna see how we go. Alright. So by default, actually, I'll just hold it. By default, for record settings, we're in Blackmagic RAW, obviously. This can't shoot. I think the Pocket series cinema cameras can shoot in ProRes. This doesn't shoot in ProRes. Also, I don't think ProRes would be useful for me because I'm pretty sure it doesn't work on Windows. I might be wrong, but I've just never used ProRes. Currently set to constant bitrate 8:1. Would be nice if I could, wait, hold on. I'm gonna set up another camera so you can see this. We'll do this. I've just got my A7 IV here, and if I just plug it in USB-C, I should very easily be able to do that. Oh no, what are you unplugging? What's happening? Now if I just do that, will it work? No. Okay. What if... Okay, cool. There we go. Now what I'll do... That needs to be way smaller. There we go. And okay, so if we can focus, and it's actually way too bright right there because the ISO is too high, that's why. Alright, here at the monitor, actually first of all, here's the rig. And yeah, I gotta figure out what is happening with this SDI connection. But that may be in the monitor settings, we'll find out. So, what I was planning on doing for the most part is shooting in 12:1 constant bitrate. And then yeah, depending on what I'm shooting, either open gate or maybe 16:9 or potentially DCI. And then if I'm shooting on spherical, but shooting like narrative stuff for like a 241 deliverable, like probably just shoot 6K 241. Mainly because like the difference in file size between that, between the 16:9 and the 241, actually pretty big difference. So like just being able to shoot for an extra hour in 241, maybe it's not an hour, but just being able to shoot for that much longer on 241 versus on 16:9. But the reason I want to stay in the 6K is, like I was saying before, if you drop into like the 4K or even the Super 35, which is basically DCI but taller, then you're going to lose resolution. Oh, sorry, you're not going to lose. Well, yeah, obviously you're going to lose resolution, but you're going to lose field of view, which don't really want to do. Anyway, we'll leave it on open gate for now. Next page, we'll change it to 25, of course. Dynamic range, film, wide gamut, extended video, 709, video, go back. We're just gonna leave it on film. Gamut compression, apply light in file. Oh, okay, so you can like leave the light on. I'm gonna just really quickly move this. Oh, why don't I just do like a picture in picture? I'll just do that. Wait, I'm on this side though. We'll go this. So then you can sort of see what I'm looking at and not just hear my disembodied voice talking. Yeah, so for now I'll leave that as it is. Time lapse, okay, so you got time lapse stuff. Preferred media recording, so you can change it to, so fullest, that's a cool setting, I guess, where you just automatically record on the media that has the least space or what has the most on it. I haven't got any cards in there right now, but I will put wherever that card is, I'll put that in there. Card drops frames, start recording a lot. Yeah, fair enough. Cool. Alright, monitor. Now, this is where we want to find stuff out. So, LCD, which is this screen. Clean feed, no. Display 3D light, possibly. Maybe not. Maybe not. And then you can like turn on false color and safe areas and grid and all that stuff. Cool. But so I think this is all stuff like if I turn false color on here, for example, and then I have false color set to a certain setting, I can then, if I turn on false color, it'll show on this LCD. Whereas if but then like maybe in the SDI, maybe I'll turn false color off. Not that I would do that, but like, yeah. So you're selecting what turns on and off for each screen. Status text, display, meters, codec, and resolution. Okay. Anamorphic D-squeeze, that's good. So we can just do D-squeeze in camera, which is nice. Yeah, because when I'm shooting on my Remus, I Blaze Remus 33mm, we're going to be on the 1.5 times D-squeeze. It'd be so nice to be able to D-squeeze in camera and not just have to do it on every single monitor. So yeah, D-squeeze in camera is nice. Zebras, yeah. So this is all stuff that I'll sort of figure out what I need to do. Frame guides, cool. You can put 9x16 frame guides on there. Kind of cool. Not that it's not expected. 4x5, 1x1, 4x3, 14x9. Interesting. 16, 9, 185 point, 185 to 1, 2 to 1, that's cool. 235, 239, and 2.4. Yeah. Safe area guides. Yep, cool. Crosshair dot. Ah, interesting. Alright. LCD brightness. Yep, that changes the brightness. This is actually quite a nice touchscreen. I'm a little surprised. Smooth motion. Oh, why would you turn smooth motion on? That's so weird. 3G SDI output. Now I wonder if I plug in. Actually, I'm gonna do this now. Level. Okay. What if I change it? Wait. I wonder. Will that just fix it? No. Oh. Aha. It worked. Okay. So that's all I had to do. I had to change the SDI to 1080p because this monitor only has a 3G SDI port, not 12G. So it was trying to send a 12G signal out to a 3G port. Not gonna work. So that's good to know. Good to know that it's not broken. So yeah, that's there. Cool. And then yeah, if I wanted to go 12G, for example, what I would do if I was plugging my transmitter that's on the monitor right now, my Pirate S, Pirate S, you see that well enough? If I was plugging that straight into the camera, that has a 12G port, I think, pretty sure. So that's when I would plug in, or that's when I change this setting to the 4K with 2160p. But yeah, good to know. USB-C, why is smooth motion turned on for USB-C? That seems so weird. I'm gonna turn that off. Yeah, but that would be for either the Ursa viewfinder or the Pyxis monitor. Cool. So we're just gonna test this real quick. I obviously don't have any LUTs for this. I have a LUT for my Sony's, so it's color space transform to DaVinci wide gamut, some exposure adjustment with curves, and then a color space transform to Rec 709. That's actually not too bad, honestly. Like, I will put an actual. Actually, to be fair, I shouldn't need to put an actual LUT on here because I can just put the LUT on the camera. And what's nice about cameras like this, I don't know if many other cameras do it, but like having these settings for like, okay, for the SDI I want a clean feed and I want the LUT. For the LCD I want the LUT but I don't want a clean feed. Like, you can do all that, and I really like that. So I'm going to go through and decide what I want in the LCD and the SDI output, what I actually want there. I'll do that at some point. Oh, also, we in 3x2 open gate. Look at that. The gaps on the sides. Usually hate gaps on the sides, but you know, if it means you're shooting open gate, it's fair. Alright. Next setting. Focus, please. I'm gonna turn these zebras off. That's so annoying. You can't see them, but they're there. Can I just? Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can just like rest this and not have to hold it. Oh, also, wait. Yeah. So this is working. Holy focus breathing. So much. I mean, I guess they're vintage lenses, so yeah, kind of makes sense. Now let's see if I can rest this in a way. Nope. What can I rest it on? Is this gonna work? Okay. Small rig VV50, also known as camera tripod. Alright, I'm gonna stop this down a bit so it's a bit more in focus. Alright, can you still, okay, that should be fine. Let's turn this a little bit sideways. Cool. Alright, next setting, audio. It obviously has built-in mic, so it's, yeah, cool. Camera left, camera right. Mono, XLR mic, cool. XLR line, 3.5 millimeter. Okay, this is actually kind of cool. Again, this is all stuff that I did not know about because no one ever talks about this stuff. Maybe because it's in other cinema cameras, but I haven't really used them all that much. So, let alone gone deep into the settings. Like the time I used a Red Komodo X, I didn't go deep into the settings. But so on here, you can also turn on and off phantom power. That's kind of cool. But we go channel 1, channel 2. So you could set channel 1 to the 3.5mm mic, and then you could have channel 1 to 3.5mm mic, and then channel 2 you could have to the XLR if you want to have an XLR. So then you can have still 2 sources of audio at the same time. They're just going to be split, and they would only be mono channels. So that would be a little bit annoying. You don't get stereo, you don't get safety. But you could have 2 separate audio inputs to here. Or you could do like your 3.5 or your XLR. Oh, there's so many options. Mono, none. Oh, you could go none, sure. Yeah, and you could even just go like, okay, camera mono. So then you can have the scratched audio as well as, you know, your actual audio or whatever. But that's, I don't know, kind of cool. I don't know, it doesn't look like there's a way to have multiple, so you got different options for meters, and you got headphone volume and speaker volume. I don't know where the speakers are, but they must be somewhere. It doesn't look like there's a way to record more than 2 channels of audio, which is a little disappointing, I guess. But, you know, this doesn't really seem like the type of camera that you need to be capturing a bunch of audio with, you know. Cool. All right, let's go into setup. Name, Pyxis 6K. That makes sense. Software, we're at 9.2.1. They're up to, didn't they release the 9.5 point whatever, all those ones at NAB? I wonder, maybe I'll have a look and see if there's any updates for the Pyxis 6K that are worth updating for. Maybe I'll update it. Otherwise, I probably won't because this isn't my camera. Cool. I hope that I wasn't like doxing anything on that screen with like the ID or anything. All right, Blackmagic Cloud. Cool. Nice. You can go shutter angle, shutter speed. Cool. Flicker free shutter based on 60 Hz, 50 Hz. I'm going to change to 50 Hz because pow. Uses webcam. Interesting. How do you do that? Lens stabilization. So probably on some L-mount lenses you can turn on stabilization. Which I guess would be, it would have to be lenses that have stabilization. It's not IBIS. Because this camera does not have stabilization. Use as webcam. Interesting. I may try to do that. Once I've gone through the settings here, I might actually have a look at seeing if I can plug it in that way and just go straight as a webcam, which might be good. That's what I'm doing with the A7 IV right here, this camera down here. That's just plugged in with USB-C. I do have this one in through Cam Link, so that's, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna see how that goes. Plug in that in, and I'll after I've done this, I'll check that. Presets. Okay, so that makes sense. You could just have preset settings, and you can, okay, and we'll go to that preset. You could probably set that to function buttons potentially as well. So that's kind of cool. LUTs. Cool. You got, ooh. Okay. I've heard someone else complain about this too. Why is it a multiple page thing and not just a scroll? Like, it looks like I should just be able to scroll here. And, okay, why doesn't that work? I feel like the little dial here should just scroll up and down. But, yeah, like, it feels like I should just be able to scroll, and there's only 2 more things. Right? So, yeah, I don't know what that's about. But, anyway. Let's quickly, if we put the LUT, display 3D LUT, there we go, nice. Okay, so that put a LUT on the monitor here. And then let's chuck a lot on the LCD as well. And I'll sort all the rest of it out another time. Okay, so we're in open gate. I'm gonna also, now there is what's it called, data rate and recording time calculators on Blackmagic's website for the Pyxis and everything. For the Pyxis 6K and 12K. And I've done that, and I'm just sort of like figured out, like, oh, can I get away with 1 terabyte? Can I get away with 800 gigs? Can I get away with 400 gigs, 500 gigs? I got a terabyte, and in 12:1 open gate, I should be able to get, theoretically, I think like 3.5 hours, which I think should be fine for like this short film that I'm shooting. Ideally on this, that's the plan. I was going to shoot it on this and these lenses too. So hopefully that's fine. It'll absolutely be enough for 1 day, but it's whether it'll be enough for the 3 days that we'll probably be shooting. Because the last 2 films that I've shot, we shot over 3 days on my FX30, and it was like a couple hundred gigs of Sony footage, and that's long op. That's not even all intra. So with B-raw 12-bit, yeah, that's the biggest thing that I'm worried about with not only just using this camera for the time that I have it, but also like eventually switching to whether it be this or most likely it'll be the 12K. I really want to get a 12K. But yeah, just like I'm gonna need to get more hard drives, sort of thing, and I'm gonna need to actually get a NAS. I don't have an actual NAS. But yeah, so this is what we're looking at here. That's got the LUT on it. Looks like there's some distortion on this lens and some vignetting. Yeah, look at that vignetting. To be fair, it's wide open at 2.8. What if we stop it down to T4 or F4 really? Alright, anyway, I will do all the testing with the lenses. I might even make a video about these lenses. So there's no card anywhere, no media detector. Okay, so good. Clicking on stuff in the menu brings up other stuff. Okay, what does that do it? Ah, nice. Cool. So you can just tap stuff. Now, what happens if I press that button? Nothing. You can't see it, but I'm pressing. Wait, can I angle this up a bit more? Let's crank the ISO a little bit. Do that. All right, you can see that now a little bit. So this button, which is looks like it'd be the aperture button, doesn't do anything because it's a manual lens with a, dumb adapter. There's no electronics anywhere. That also seems to do nothing. I don't know what that button is meant to do. Record and the still button shouldn't do anything because there's nothing plugged, no media in there, but I will put media in a sec. ISO, cool. That's the same as just tapping the ISO button there. That's fine. So, now this is something with the ISO on this camera in particular, and I guess this sensor. With ISO, it's got 2 bases. They say they're 400, sorry, not bases, native. 2 native ISOs. The 2 native ISOs are apparently 400 and 3200, right? So you got those 2 there. However, 1250 will get you a cleaner image than 3200. It's just that the way that they determine native ISO is a combination of signal to noise ratio, and also like a more even spread of stops above and below middle gray. So at 3200, it's a bit more even where you have similar amount above and below. Whereas 1250, I think there's more, there'll be more in the shadows versus the highlights. So you'll be able to, you'll have more dynamic range in the shadows versus the highlights. but you'll have a cleaner image then, because there'll be less digital noise than 3200. So I think my current understanding is that you would shoot, and I don't know if it's the case at 400 versus like 200 as well. I think you can go down all the way to, what can we go down to? What's that? 100. So we go all the way down to 100. I don't know, and maybe this is stuff I can test. If you want me to know, if you want me to test this stuff, let me know. I can make a video about it. But 200, I mean, it's good that there's just like presets, so you can just sort of like switch easy enough. What would be good is if you can, wonder, no. So it's like, you got to press the ISO button, then select an ISO. So that's not too hard if you're just going, okay, I want to go from 400, let's go to 1250. Boom, it takes 2 seconds. It's not as easy as pressing the ISO button on my FX30 because I have that set to switch base ISOs. So it'll just go from 800 to 2500 and back, no in between. Whereas with this one, it does take 2 presses. So you either tap the screen twice, or you press a button, then tap the screen. Or turn the wheel a bit. So you can turn the wheel. That's cool, I guess. Oh, and it rolls. So if you go down, it's the little things, right? You don't think about that. If you go all the way to the bottom, then you go down, it goes all the way back to the top. And if you go 256,000, you go up 1, it'll go to 100. Anyway, we'll leave it at now, according to the charts on the website, you will get more dynamic range at 400 ISO, but like the lower bass. So there's still the 2 basses where you have like a lower bass and a higher bass. You will get more dynamic range. It's like half a stop or something at the lower bass. So yeah. Now, where is that CF Express card? Let me know if anyone has any questions, anything you want me to test while I have it right here. As I said, I will be getting a battery. Yeah, so the next thing I'm going to test is... Oh, that's fine. Next thing I will test is the... actually, I'm gonna check to see what it says about storage. And then I will test... What will I test? Oh, actually, so you can see this. Well, let's zoom it out a bit so you can... Yeah. Alright, so this mechanism, as I mentioned before, I know it's pretty dark in there, but this isn't the nicest way to get, the CF Express access to them, but it's fine. I guess like a door would be better, like kind of like how like Reds have. Cool, clicks in, nice. And then, okay, let's look at this. According to this, as you can see there, this card, okay, there's no, oh, that's cool. Okay, so if you have multiple storage devices, so like an SSD or, either of your CF Express cards, you can check what's on there. You can just click it and it's like, I want to see what's on this card. Cool, I can go on that. Okay, what's on the other card? Oh, I want to watch these clips. That's nice. I like that. Also, yeah, I didn't check these buttons did anything. They don't do anything right now. I imagine they would if you have a clip playing. But yeah, so this is saying, so we are in, reminder, open gate, 6K, which is 3x2. And there's the resolution right there, if you can read that. 12:1 compression. And this is getting us 3 hours and 28 minutes. Now, if we, let's say, change to, let's go 3:1. Let's go real uncompressed. What's that going to get us now? 54 minutes on a terabyte. This is a terabyte card. That that is ridiculous. That is raw, and this is only 12-bit raw. Like on a Red, to be fair, Red's compression might be different. No, it is different. They have 16-bit raw, but they probably have better compression. I'm not sure how B-raw pairs to R3D raw, but yeah, that difference. So 3:1 gets you 54 minutes on a terabyte in OpenGate, and 12:1 gets you 3.5 hours. I think for the most part, I'm going to shoot on 12:1. because I just don't have terabytes of space that I can just sort of use. The drives that I edit off are 2 terabytes in my PC and 4 terabytes on my mobile one that I use for my laptop. So, like, yeah, if I did record for an hour on 3:1, it would be fine and I could do it, but it's just like, that's a lot of data that I don't need. Like, I don't need to shoot in 6K 3:1. Like, 12:1's probably fine. If not, and I'll probably do some tests where I'll test the different compression ratios. Like 8:1 gets you what? 2 hours 20. So you lose about an hour to get, you know, better compression, like less compressed. 5:1, how? Okay, I don't know if anyone is there. Is it just me that's buffering, or is it buffering for you as well? Is the stream having issues? Because it doesn't look like it. The stream is apparently not having issues over here, but the preview on YouTube seems to keep buffering, and I'm hoping that it's just my preview for me. Yeah, what does 5:1 get you? An hour and a half. And then we already did 3:1. Now, and also actually, let's go. So we're at 3 hours, 28 minutes in open gate. If we go to 16:9, we get down to, so we get 4 hours. We get an extra half an hour by cropping out the top and bottom to a 16:9 image versus a 3:2 image. And then if we crop it even further to 4:1, we get another, oh wow. 16:9 was what? 4 hours. 241 is 5 hours 20 in 12:1. Okay, that's pretty good. So if you want to shoot in like 241 and you don't want to crop, and here's the thing, it's still 6K. You're not going to export in 6K, so you still have room to crop if you need to. So you could shoot it slightly wider than you need to, just to have that room to crop, or just shoot it as you would, and then it's like, well, all right, we need to make a tighter shot, we can punch in. So 6K 241, maybe this is what I'll do for YouTube, is 6K 241, so the files aren't massive. Yeah, so you got 5 hours 20 minutes 241. Now all of those, so all these ones on the top row, they use the full width of the sensor, 6K, so 6,048 pixels. If we go to anything lower than that, so if you go down to any of the 4K or lower ones, you're gonna then have, wait, no, I did that, yeah. You're gonna then be punching in on the sensor. So Super 35 4:3 is 4096 by 3072, so it's 4:3 aspect ratio. Let's have a look at that. That's the aspect ratio for that. Now this you could, this will get you 6 hours 19 minutes, 6 hours 20 minutes. So that's pretty good. You're in 4K, you're in 4:3, so anamorphic, or, you know, if you want a real nostalgic film look and shoot in 4:3, a lot of people seem to like 4:3 for some reason. Yeah, so that's cool. You get, honestly, I'm a little surprised. I don't know why. I've looked at all these numbers before. What if we go 4K 16:9, or even DCI? Let's go DCI. 4K DCI, which is 17:9. 8.5 hours in 12:1. Oh, easy. But, you know, maybe if it's like, okay, well, we're shooting in 4K, but we want to maybe look a little bit better, let's go to 8:1 compression. 6 hours. Still pretty good. Okay, I'm a little bit more optimistic now. So 4K 16:9, 8 hours, and that's in 12:1. 1 terabyte, or just under 1 terabyte on my FX30 in the long GOP mode gets me 14 hours. I can't remember what it, I think it's that's 140 megabit a second, and all intro is 250, I think. So it's not quite double. But I reckon in all intro I could get like 10 hours. 4K, all intro. So honestly, 8 hours B-raw in 12:1 compression, probably not that bad. And for some reason, if you want to go Super 16, let's go. Oh, look how much that crops in. Ready? So there's that. Wait, actually, what I'll do, so you can actually see this difference. So you don't see the menus. This is what the monitor's showing. Right? We're in Super 16 right now. We can actually go into HD. Look at that. So that's this. Now this is the problem with this camera. You want to shoot in 1080p? That's how much you crop in. Ready? Let's go to OpenGate. That's OpenGate. That's 6K OpenGate. Even if you wanted to go 16, 6K 16 by 9, okay? 6K 16 by 9. 4K 16 by 9. Look how much that punches in. And then HD, punching in even more. Because there's no, like, there's no downscaling. There's no, there's no downsampling in this camera at all. It just like shoots 1:1 pixels. It's not the case in the 12K, and that's one of the reasons why I want to get 12K. And if you haven't seen my video, go watch my video about the Pyxis 12K. Anyway, what was I going to test? There was other things I was going to test. Oh yeah, if I can use this webcam. Alright, let's try to do that. Also, the lock switch, right, locks the touchscreen and doesn't lock the menu button. Interesting. But it locks the touchscreen. Does it lock the record button? It does. What? Interesting. Okay, so I just recorded that with the lock on. If I turn the lock off. Wait, okay. White balance. Cool. Go away. Lock on, white balance. Huh. Now, I wonder, I remember people complaining about this a while ago. Like I remember, who was it? I think when people first got their hands on this, and the Crater crew got, they went out to Montana or something, and they filmed a bunch of stuff with Condor Blue, and they were complaining about how the lock switch locks everything, and you can't select what it does and doesn't lock. So you could lock it, but then you couldn't press record, and it wouldn't, like, pressing record wouldn't do anything. Or you could press record, lock it, but then you couldn't stop it recording. Whereas now it looks like the lock button only does, the lock switch only does the screen, which is interesting. Maybe it's in there somewhere. Actually, wait. I didn't swipe through all of these, did I? Okay, cool. Function buttons, so they're currently set to toggle false color on just the LCD. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Cool. Oh, and then you can set your function buttons on the monitor and on the viewfinder. It's cool. And on, what is that? Zoom. Oh, is this the new? This is the stuff for the new handle. Focus domain direction. Dim display. EVF. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Stream. So you can actually, that's another thing. You can stream directly from this. I think via the US. Oh, either from Ethernet or from USB-C. I can't remember. Maybe it's, I imagine it would be from the Ethernet. But, like, that's cool if you wanted to stream directly from this. So this one, I'm streaming from my computer. My cameras are plugged into my computer. But you can stream directly from this if you wanted to. More stream stuff. Protocol. Camera available for... Oh, okay, so this is if you have remote control with the app. But the one thing that I don't think I will be able to do is because... pretty sure the app is only on Apple, on iPhone. I may be wrong, or maybe it is only on, because I know with the Blackmagic camera app that like turns your phone camera into like a better camera. That was originally only on iPhone, and then some like higher end Android phones got it, like the new Pixels, the new Samsung S23s and stuff like that. By S20, it'd be at what, S24, S25. Those ones have it, but mine doesn't because I don't have a particularly high-end phone. Alright, so you can calibrate stuff. Cool. Alright, well, that's cool. Now the one thing, I wonder if it's in record, is I want to know about proxies. I was actually thinking I might make a video about proxies because I recently started using proxies. I've never used proxies before. I started shooting proxies and it actually can make things a lot easier, but there's some annoying quirks, especially about the FX30. And I want to talk about that. I looked at this stuff. Yeah, there's no... Interesting. Alright, well, I don't know. If you happen to know where the proxy settings are, or if there are, maybe it just automatically does proxies. I don't know. Maybe it does. But yeah, so what I'm going to try and do now is see if I can use this as a webcam. What have we been going for? Where are we? Hour 40. Okay. I was sort of expecting to go for like 2 hours for this stream. But yeah, as I said, if anyone has any questions, anything you want to know, anything you do know and you want me to know about this, like, let me know. But yeah, actually, one thing I will do. When I posted on my Instagram story about this, that I put a countdown, I also put, I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, and I put a question thing there, so, whoa, hold on, we're freezing everything. Are we back? No, we're not back yet. Oh, because I hid the wrong one. That's so dumb. I hid the wrong camera. Anyway. Yeah, so I put a little thing in there so people can ask questions, and I'm going to go through... I didn't get many questions, but there was a couple questions. We'll go through a couple questions there, and then I'm going to see if I can plug this in and use this as webcam. Otherwise, I might... The annoying thing is I don't have like an SDI to HDMI converter or anything, so I can't just plug this straight into my computer in any way. So what I might do is, if I plug, actually, yeah, I can just do that. So I'll take the cable from the HDMI cable that's plugged into my FX30 right here, and I'll plug that into the HDMI out on my monitor here, so then it can just take the signal from the monitor. That's probably the best way to do it, rather than going like wireless or going through my directions monitor or anything like that. So not a heap of questions, but probably the most interesting question is, what about the 12K? And obviously no one has 12K yet. 12K, and I think that question was directed because they assumed that I bought this. If you weren't here when I mentioned it before, I really want a handle here. I need to put a handle. I might actually try and do that before this stream ends, because yeah, picking it up, like, I just want a handle right here. I'm definitely gonna put a NATO rail. Maybe I should have got 2 of these NATO rails. Put another one right there. Yeah, I should have done that. Anyway, I have shorter ones that should be fine. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so like they were like, oh, why would you buy a 6K Pyxis when the 12K comes out in a couple months? Well, it's out, it's just not like available. And yeah, that's the thing, I didn't buy this. So what happened is I actually contacted, usually I don't contact brands directly. I have a couple times, and it has worked, like Condor Blue sort of thing. But I contacted Blackmagic and be like, hey, when the Pyxis 12K comes out, could I maybe like get one sort of thing? And they were like, sure, yeah, we can maybe put you on the list. And then they were like, in the meantime, anything else you want? And I was like, okay, Pyxis 6K. So yeah, so then they sent Pyxis 6K. I have this for about 6 weeks. I will be shooting one short film next weekend. I don't know if I'm going to get another one in before I have to send this back, because I do have to send it back in the middle of next month. Otherwise, it'll just be like a lot of YouTube stuff and maybe some other stuff for like testing purposes. Yeah. Or if any other things just pop up in that time. But yeah, so this is a loan from Blackmagic. I have to send it back. And it's like, there's no specific content that I have to make. I didn't like agree to, oh, I'm going to make a review video, I'm going to do this. And it's just like, obviously I'm going to make videos about it because this is a camera that I want. But yeah, why this K over the 12K? I still want to get the 12K. And honestly, I was hoping that I could just get one to keep, but yeah, you know, they're not just going to send me a Pyxis when they don't know me. So I'm really appreciative that they were willing to just like lend me one. And yeah, hopefully y'all come and watch all the videos that I make about them, so they do really well, and I make some really good videos, and then maybe they'll consider giving me a 12K. I don't know. But yeah, one of the sort of like downsides, right, to getting, and I know this is like champagne problems, getting sent a $5,000 camera. I'm in Australia, it's $5,000 Australian dollars. I had to spend $1,000 on other stuff to even use this. I had to buy the PL mount to L mount adapter because this is an L mount camera. I only have E mount to PL mount lenses, so I kind of had to buy this to use any of my PL stuff because they didn't have any PL versions available, but I think it worked out better that I got the L mount. I had to buy a card. I got the 1TB Pro Grade card. Because I don't have a cage, and I don't know, maybe Conda Blue will send me one, maybe not, they haven't let me know yet. I mean, honestly, if I can get a handle situation on the right side, I may not need a cage, because like this doesn't really need a cage. As long as you can attach a couple handles and a monitor, you're probably pretty sweet. Like this seems pretty okay, as long as I can get a handle on the right side. I think it'll be chilling. So, but yeah, so I bought this. I bought the card, which is the most expensive thing. I bought the adapter. I bought the cable. This red cable is an Allen's cable, because I have no other devices that use 2-pin LEMO. And yeah, like if I was to buy a cage, you know, the Conda Blue cage is like $500 US for like the A kit. So it's sort of the hidden downside, or yes, getting sent stuff for free is really cool, but sometimes you have to spend more money to just use it when it's something that, like, if Sony sent me a camera, it wouldn't be a big deal. I have Sony lenses. I have Sony batteries. I had to buy a battery for this. It's not here. I don't have to buy a battery, but I have bought one. It's on its way. But honestly, I could just use it like this and it'd be fine. Just no battery in there. If you weren't here when I went through that, there is no battery in there. It's just running straight off the V-mount. But if I need to change this V-mount, which actually, good test. This has been idling, just sort of chilling for, I don't know how long, whenever I turn it on, maybe half an hour to an hour, somewhere in that range. We're down to 83%. It says it's got just under 4 hours to go on the battery. So this rig won't last as long on this battery than, you know, my FX30 will. So I may have to change batteries, and I really want to get at least one more of these 212 batteries, but they're like $600 each, which is a lot. Yeah. Okay. Let's actually try it. I'm just gonna send it. We're gonna plug it into the back USB port here and just see what happens. Oh, okay. So something happened. I heard a noise. Now the question is, stream looks, yeah, stream's all good. Now the question is going to be, can I just find it in OBS? Video capture device. Cool. Blackmagic design. Aha. Okay. Okay. We hit. Okay, it's that easy. Thank you, Blackmagic. That's what we want. Look at that. All right. But there's no LUT. So let's see if I'm just gonna go in here and see monitor LCD. Let's go USB-C. Display LUT. Oh, that doesn't change anything. Clean feed. Okay, so doing any of this doesn't seem to do anything. Wait, but hold on. Where was... Okay, USB-C. Turning on and off the display light does nothing. However, where was it? It was in... You can't see what I'm doing now. Does anyone remember? Where was the settings for... What am I even looking for? Oh, the user's webcam. So now I'm just gonna turn this off now. And that disconnected. So now, yeah, okay. So that has just frozen. So I'm gonna turn that back on. And reset that. Wait, it hasn't automatically. No, it hasn't automatically. I'm gonna reset it real quick. Cool. All right. Now, the annoying thing is there's no LUT, which does not appear like I can set that to anything, because the USB-C, like turning anything on the USB, like what if I just go out of the menu? Let's turn the LUT on and go out of it. Nope, nothing. Okay, that's still got no LUT, so that's still the log image. Okay, not ideal. But now can I? Oh, that's annoying. All right. So what I'll probably do, I'll get over here so you can actually see me. What I'll probably do with the LUT situation, at least, this is unrelated to the whole webcam situation, but like it's nice to know. Actually, wait, hold on. If I, okay, now I have found a downside to the. What am I even doing? I've found a downside to the whole side screen situation. If I want the camera pointing this way, I can't do anything because the screen's on the left side. So what I can do is, I forgot, what was I gonna do? Change the, okay, so I'm gonna change the dynamic range. Oh, okay, extended video, cool. Yep, that looks not too bad. That looks pretty similar. So that's video, extended video, and then we've got film, which is wide gamut. So that's basically like the log. So we've got basically log, or they call wide gamut, extended video, video. Let's go extended video because it's just gonna be like a higher dynamic range version of video. So both extended video and video are Rec 709, so that's sort of probably the easiest way to do it, and it just means that we won't have the LUT on. So now if I get out of the menu, now that this looks ridiculous because it's got the LUT on. Can I turn? Alright, I gotta figure out how. I'll probably set one of the function buttons to turn the LUT on and off. Because on here right now, it's got the LUT on, but I changed the dynamic range to extended video, so now it basically has double. It's like Rec 709 with the wide gamut LUT. So we don't want that. Monitor LUT. We'll turn off frame guides as well. Cool. Okay, why are you still there? It's still. Huh? I'm confused. That's USB-C. That makes sense. LCD and that. Cool. Alright. Figured it out. I forgot. I left on a USB-C. Okay, there we go. Now, we've got both. Where can I put? Ooh, do I trust? It's quite heavy. I don't want to just put it on top of my computer. I'm going to get a tripod. I'll put it right here. And I may change lenses. I think I'm going to change lenses. So, I don't know why I've also had my headphones on this entire time. I'm going to grab a tripod. I'm going to put the camera on the tripod, obviously. And aren't wireless mics great? So, what we'll do, I was thinking I was going to put it further away and like use the, what do we have, the 28 mil that I've got on there right now. But if I want to leave it plugged in with USB-C, I don't want to do that. So, I'm going to just put it on the tripod right here, and I may change to the 18 mil lens. Now, this isn't going to look the same yet. It actually looks quite different. I can't see it, though. But I'd have to turn the monitor around. Where's focus? Alright, we're at what? Oh, sorry, f2. I keep forgetting it's f2.8. Okay. So, here is... Well, okay, what I'll do, I'm going to change it to 16 by 9. So then it's not in the open gate. We'll go 6K, 16 by 9. I'll move this over a bit more. Okay. And this is on this is nice 28 mil 2.8. Where is focus? Is this oh wait, I'm gonna just make this one bigger for now. There we go. Alright. I still can't see it though when it's over here. Maybe I need to just no, I can't. Yeah, okay. While we're here, let's just change lenses. Might be easier to see stuff on the 18 anyway. So what I'll do is just swap now. I'm gonna have to. Now this 18 is weird. It is, so it's an f4. Now the question is, how do I do that? Cool, there we go. All right, now we're at, that's at f22, we're at f4 now. And then now this is a weird lens because, oh, it's so wide. Look at that. Wait, so then maybe, let's just bump up the ISO a bit. We're at, let's go 1250, which should be basically the second base. Okay, focus, where are we? I'm gonna make this bigger so I can actually see it. We're very out of focus. Alright, so is that minimum? Yeah. So that's 18. Also, the lighting here is not great because now the light's on this side of me. It's going to look weird. But also, look at that focus breathing. Oh my gosh. So much focus breathing. Yeah, so this is the 18. Nice and wide. I don't think I've ever actually shot an 18mm lens. Because the widest lens that I've ever owned is a 20mm. I mean, on full frame at least. On my Lumix G85, I had a 12 to 60, which was basically a 24 to 120. I'm still not in focus, am I? Hard to tell. I'm looking over here and then trying to look here and then I move and then, yeah, anyway. But yeah, as I was saying, this lens is weird, and this lens in particular, the rest of them are actually not like this. this one, the focus ring turns. Okay, that's the 28. I don't want to like get these confused on which one's which. Yeah, so the focus ring turns, but also so does the entire outside of the lens. Let's see if we can see it on the other camera. Let's go like there. So this bit, right? This turns as it focuses, right? So I can grab the end of the lens and it'll change focus, or I can grab the. I don't know if you can really see that. Yeah, it's hard to tell from that angle, but yeah, the end of the lens moves with the focus ring, so that's weird. Which means there's going to be issues with, you obviously can't use a matte box because then the matte box would just rotate when you focus. Where are we? This is really hard. I don't know if it's just because the lighting is so flat on my face when I'm looking over to the side. But what if I come over here? Is that better? What if I wait? No, I can't. Is that? Oh no, this is gonna be even worse. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? Anything you want me to test while I have it here? Because otherwise, I think I'll probably end the stream very soon. Very excited to do a lot of stuff with this camera. Actually, what I might do, one more thing we got to test is, of course, we got to check out Blazar on here. So we got the 33mm Blazar Remus. Can we focus on it? Is that easy to focus? Oh, there we go. 33mm Blazar Remus. We gotta try it, right? Since I've had this, I've only ever obviously used it on my Sony cameras, so I've never shot it on anything other than a 16:9 sensor. So what we'll do. Okay, fine. So I'll take the lens off. That's something that's a little bit annoying with these lenses, is anyway, the lens caps. Sorry, the adapter doesn't have any caps. I need to swap. Hold on, let's just cover that. Just leave the sensor exposed like that. Don't do that. Okay, I'm going to put this PL to L mount adapter on here. Let me just that. Cool, we got that. So yeah, this is the CY to L adapter. So that's how I'm using these lenses on this camera. And apparently this quick side. Wait, will these fit? No. Oh no, they're both L mount. That should work. Yeah, nice. This CY to NEX adapter apparently works on E-mount. So maybe I'll try using the lens on one of my Sonys at some point while I have them. But anyway, let's get this Blazar on here. Cool, okay. Now we're gonna have to change some stuff. Let's just stop it down so it's, oh wait, we just changed the ISO, can't we? Alright, we'll go down to what are we at? So 400 ISO. It's probably okay. Exposure, focus there, and let's get on this anamorphic desqueeze. So I'm gonna go settings. Let's see if I can do this. Monitor. Where was the anamorphic desqueeze? I forget. Recording? No, it wasn't the recording, was it? No. Aha. Now, now where was the setting? That's the question. Wouldn't be in setup, would it? Swear it wasn't in here. Okay, 50 hertz. Okay, so it's not in there. Monitor. Now the one question. I don't know if D-squeeze. There we go. So 155 in the LCD, SDI, and USB-C. Oh, it did it there. Okay, what did it do there? Okay, so it just changes on all of them. Okay, fair enough. So if you change the anamorphic, it changes on all of them. Now I'm going to switch back to OpenGate. So then we have this. Oh, that frame rate wasn't great. There we go. All right, we're at anamorphic. We're at 3x2, 1.5 times. Oh, what is the motion? I don't know if this is the anamorphic or the... Or was it doing this before? I don't remember. I didn't notice. Maybe it was doing this before. I'm going to focus a little bit further. Where are we at? Like 1.8. 0.8, yeah. Yeah, so anamorphic. Pretty cool. Are we at T... What are we at? We're at T28. That's T18. I'm just going to go down. I'm going to drop this ISO down a little bit. So then that we're not too bright. So I'm not chucking an ND filter on with this. This is not a very good example for like, oh, this is what anamorphic footage looks like. But if you haven't used anamorphic lenses, it can sometimes just be fun to just go over in the edge and just see how squished you get. Yeah. Cool. So this is the 33mm Laser Remus. OpenGate 3x2, 1.5 times D-squeeze, obviously. This is a 1.5 times squeeze lens. Then if we go, the other thing we could do, now this is giving us what, like a, I think this is pretty close to a 235 to 1. It may be a bit less. Like honestly, this looks a little bit less than, so it might be like a 2, between 2 to 1 and 2.35 to 1. I think this could work quite well for like YouTube, and obviously for like narrative stuff when you're shooting anamorphic. Let's disable it for now. And then what we can also do, because we're shooting anamorphic, if we go, let's go to the 6x5, see what that looks like. Now, if we shoot 6x5 with the 1.5 D squeeze, whoa, did that just make it 16:9? That like fits perfectly. Okay, interesting. So 6x5 D squeezed 1.5 times makes a 16:9 sensor, 16:9 frame. So that's kind of cool. So is it 6K 6x5? And this is not a very good frame for anamorphic, so you know it's not like you can really tell that it's anamorphic all that much. Let's go to we'll go Super 35 4x3. What is a little bit annoying with this camera in particular, because of how like the sensor works and how you like window in and stuff like that, but I also don't think this should be an issue, but there's no option for a 4x3 full frame mode. Like there's no 6K 4x3, which I guess kind of makes sense, because technically the 6K 6x5 isn't actually 6K, it's it's 4K tall, but it's the width, sorry, it's the height that 6K is when you're doing it at the open gate, the 3x2, but then it cuts off the sides. So it's not actually 6K. It's actually, it probably says on the thing. What is it? It's 4832 by 4032. And right now we're in Super 35 4x3, which is, this is probably more like a 2-to-1, which honestly would work reasonably well for YouTube. So it's like if I wanted to shoot on like 50mm, roughly equivalent, you know, 33mm, drop it down to Super 35, it looks similar to a 50mm on full frame. So, I mean, this isn't too bad, and like this could work for like a YouTube video. This is like a 2-to-1, but I don't think it looks as good as if we go open gate like that. Like that looks, yeah, that just looks better. Now, we could go crazy with it and go 241. 241 at 1.5 times. Now, the thing with that is, though, like, yes, it's ridiculously wide and it's ridiculously, like, short, but it's the same width as the 6K open gate, the 6K 16:9, 17:9. They're all the same width. It's just how much you're cropping from the top. So open gate, you're gonna get the entire height. The 2.4:1 that we're in right now, you're getting 2.4:1 normally, and then you're obviously de-stretching it or de-squeezing it to then the animal effect. So, so 16:9, this is what we would normally get out of like my Sony cameras, like this looking like this amount of stretch, because we're at 1.5 times and we're on a 16:9 sensor right now. But yeah, we've got to get that open gate 3x2. And 3x2 can work as well with 2 times anamorphics. But if you're going to go 2 times, unless you want to go particularly wide and you want to crop out some of the edges, you might be better off going for like the 6x5 mode. Yeah, 6x5. Yeah. Where am I? I'm over here. But yeah, so... Oh, that's what I was going to do. Okay, I'm going to see if I can figure out. I'm going to get rid of this. Disable that. And I'll unplug the camera. I think also, you might even, I noticed when I turned off the webcam mode, there was a pop-up to say, what do you want to do with this drive? So it looks like you might even just be able to plug the camera in with USB-C and just like transfer files off. So that's kind of nice. You can do that with like Sony cameras like this as well. Ethernet might work as well. I'm not sure. It's not really worth me trying Ethernet. Like I don't actually have anything plugged into the Ethernet port on my computer, but I don't think it's worth trying. I have a card reader, and if I can plug it in with USB-C, I can just do that. So what I'll do is I'm going to try, actually, I can just sort of leave this here. Now, I want to see what I can do regarding the, I'm going to close up, get over here. Alright, I want to see what I can do with, oh my gosh, don't bump the lens. I'm going to put a cap on that. Actually, I can turn this camera off right now. Yeah. Turn the camera off and unplug the SDI, because I'm going to turn the battery plate off as well. Everything's up. Cool. Alright. Now, this plate right here. Actually, can I bring this closer? Let me like way over on the side here. Where can I put this mic? It's just in the way no matter where it is. Alright. So, this plate, I'm going to just turn this up so you can actually see stuff. Cool. Let's go with that. Still can't. Where are we? Okay, let's go with that. So this plate, now this would work with actually this plate that I've got on top, sorry, the NATO rail that I've got on top. It's a 90mm NATO rail. I reckon a 70mm one would work here as well. You go 70mm and just do it vertical, and then I could just put a NATO handle on there. So it looks like my options, because my only other options for, what are you focusing on that for? I have a couple of 50mm NATO rails, but I'm pretty sure that gap is going to be too far to put it across there to have 2 bolts in there. So I might have to do it with 1 bolt, which is not ideal when you're weight bearing, like you're putting a handle that's taking the weight of the camera on there. So that's not ideal. I don't think I currently have any other handles that I could just put on the side like that. So like I can put a NATO rail in there. I could put a, the Fullcam F22. I could put a Fullcam F22 plate on there, and I have one of those I have an F22 handle I could put on there. That might work. I'm not the biggest fan of those plates, mainly because like it'll definitely turn. There's no way that's not gonna, maybe it'll sort of dig in plastic enough, because this is just plastic. Maybe it'll dig in enough that it won't turn. There's locating pins on the 3/8 inch hole there, but I'm not going to use that 3/8 inch hole for the F22 plate, because it doesn't have a 3/8 inch thread. I don't know how to pronounce the name. F-seal? Is that what, or is it 2 different things? Hello, how you doing? Welcome. You missed all of the unboxing and the setting up the camera, because it's already here. But I'm trying to figure out a way to put a handle on the right side, because as you can see, I've got a top handle on there. I have a left handle here, and my options for a right handle, and I kept going to grab the camera and just like grabbing nothing here, because I need a handle here. I think having a rosette handle on the rosette plate would be really nice, or ideally is to have a cage with a rosette right here. So like the Condor Blue cage, it has rosettes on all the corners. No, it's got a rosette here and here, or here, and it's got a rosette on both the front and the back and either side. I think it's got 4 rosettes total. So I could just go rosette here or here, and then just rosette handle. That's sort of what I want to do. You can turn the volume up a little bit. No, I can't. This is kind of as loud as this mic wants to get. Actually, hold on. I may be able to. Alright, did that? Oh, that did make it louder. Oh, there we go. Alright, well, there you go. Is that loud enough? Is that? I can check. It looks a lot better, volume-wise. Where is? Oh, I can just do this. Okay, how are we there? Yeah, that's way better, right? Cool. I just turned it up on the receiver. I have this mic turned as high as it'll go on the mic itself, but I generally don't like adding volume on the receiver or on the camera, because preamps just aren't that great. But it kind of makes sense for this anyway. So, but yeah, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do for a handle here while I don't have a cage. And yeah, like I'm not gonna, unless Blackmagic ends up sending me the rosette grip, the rosette plate, I mean, that could be cool. And then I can just, then to be fair, I'd still need to get a rosette handle. I don't have, the only rosette handle that I have is the other one of these, so I just have these 2 Condor Blue ones. Not ideal to put in the middle, like to mount it here, then it's going to be either sticking up really high or sticking down really far. So that's not ideal. It would be more like one of those wooden ones that you can just like rosette on the side. That would be sort of perfect. The other way that it could be done, but again I would need to get more stuff, would be to get another one of these rosette, like the rosette rod adapters, and I could put that right here. can't see that. I can put that right here, so then I can just have a rosette here. But then it could probably work, and I just like have it slightly angled. Honestly, that would probably work. But that requires me getting more stuff, which I don't have. So, and some of this stuff I did, like, obviously, like, with it, as I mentioned before, so those of you who weren't here then, Blackmagic sent me this. It's a loan from them. It's like a review unit. But they didn't send me with everything that's just like, you can just use the camera. There's no battery. There's no way to power it, basically, no storage. So I had to buy a card. I bought a battery. Don't necessarily need a battery because I can just pair it with a V-mount, but I bought a battery anyway. It just hasn't arrived yet. And then, yeah, like the rig and stuff, like I just needed, like this NetRail will come in handy even when I don't have this camera, but while I do have it, I need to figure out a way to use it handheld, like basically, because of like handles are what's important when it comes to handheld. What's the total weight? I don't know. I haven't tried weighing it, but definitely more than, see, I wanted to just like grab it on the two side handles because I'm so used to that. Yeah, it's definitely heavier than my FX30 rig. And yeah, I can't give you like an exact weight because I haven't weighed it. I literally unboxed it on this stream, so I haven't weighed it since. But like, it's, if I had another handle on the side here, like this is totally doable for like handheld work, and you know, even doing like underslung sort of like that. Like it's fine. It's not so heavy that it's like, oh, you know, really tiring. It's not light, but you know, you've got a 212 watt hour battery on the back there, an 8-inch monitor. I mean, that lens is like, the Remus lenses are reasonably heavy as well, especially the 33. It's one of the bigger ones. Not fully built, pushing 4 or 5. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. So this is about as fully built as I can sort of get it now. I think probably my only option really for handles on the right side is to put the other rosette handle here. But yeah, so I've got the nucleus on there. I haven't put it back on the gears yet, but plugged in, that works. I'm happy about that. The USB-C port for the viewfinder, just a little short cable there, so I don't have to run a cable all the way back here. Powering it from DTAP to 2-pin LEMO, and then when the battery that I've ordered arrives, I'll put the BPU 35 in there, just so then if I need to change the V-mount, I can keep the battery, I can keep the camera still on. However, actually, what I haven't tested, let's do this. I switch the, yeah, that's that turning on. Now, let's time this on. Uptime. All right, so I'm gonna switch it on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I took 5 seconds, and it's on. So it's actually not a big deal. Like, I could totally just turn it off if I need to change the battery. It takes 5 seconds to turn back on. It's not like a red that takes 30 seconds to turn back on. So yeah, that's good to know. Quick little easy test. Still would be beneficial to have a battery in there, so that's kind of why I decided to get one anyway. But BPU batteries are not cheap. But I did get like one of the smallest ones I could, but I think it's still technically a Sony one, so it's like, probably maybe could have got a cheaper one, but didn't want to trust a loaner camera that if I break I have to pay for on a cheap BPU battery. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do this handle situation. I'm gonna go get, I can take the mic with me. I'm gonna get, I can't bring the camera with me. I'm gonna get a NetRail. So I'll see if I can put, now actually, hold. I may have one other option, but if I get this NATO, I'm gonna get this NATO rail here. This is gonna be way too short. A 70 or a 90 mil one would be way better for the side. I will grab a NATO. The thing is, I don't have any right handles. Like, I have all left handles. I'm gonna grab the rosette handle. I'm gonna grab that, and then I need to find an F22 plate. I don't know where my F22 plates are. I could take one off one of these things that I have here. You're at 4.5 kilos, been struggling getting mine to balance on a Miller DS10. Oh, is that a tripod? A7S3 with Ninja 200 to 600. Yeah, of course. You're going to have issues with a 200 to 600. Massive. I think, too, also, when it comes to something like that, that sounds to me, unless you also have, like, a massive battery on the back, that sounds very front heavy. And that's something that I'm a big proponent of balance when it comes to rigs. So, like, with this rig, I'm going to plug this back in. But when it comes to rigs, and I've talked about this in YouTube videos before, balance can be more important than weight. A balanced but heavy rig will feel better than a lighter but really unbalanced rig. So, even with this setup right now, right? Notice I'm not holding it. It's resting on my fingers, and it's pretty much staying level. It's very slightly back heavy, but like the tiniest bit, but it's not tipping, right? So if I hold it on this handle, I know this mic is kind of in the way. Put it over here. We don't need this right now. Do that. So yeah, this is why I need a handle on here, because I can hold it here, but this handle is a bit towards the front. So if I put this handle on as well, then both my handles will be at the front, which means it's going to be a bit back heavy because this battery is so heavy. And like the camera itself, so the battery and the camera, because they're both behind the handles, yeah, the battery and the camera are heavier than the lens and the monitor, if that makes sense. That does make sense. I don't know why I'm questioning it. That definitely makes sense. So there's more weight behind the handles than before, which is why I'd like to have one handle out the front left and one handle at the back right. So having it right here would be sort of ideal for me. Or potentially having, you know, a handle like this just sort of on the side there, which I think I may try and do, but I just need to find a plate. So, but what I can do, oh, that's why that looks weird. Okay, I'm gonna really quickly just change this back to, have you used a Miller CX2 fluid head? No, I haven't. I have small rig tripods, so I have the Fleury Blazer 8100 and the Tribex. I got one of the, I think the Tribex that I've got is number 75. So it's like from one of the first batch they ever made. Before they made a bunch of changes, they made a bunch of changes after that. And I've used, it's like an old Sackler. I don't know what it was, and it was like a year ago. But yeah, it was on like an old Sackler. But yeah, so no, I have not used a Miller CX2 fluid head. But what I'm gonna do here, the audio still okay if I'm over here? All right, it could be a little bit louder, but let's go. Oh, okay, that's cool. I just found it. Oh, I went to grab the handle again. There's no handle. Okay. So I just went to see, oh, is there any other way to get the menu up other than pressing the menu button? And I went to swipe, and it gets rid of all the info, which is nice. It's just like, oh, okay, I don't want to see the info right now. I just want to monitor. Good, I like that. I wonder, that could potentially be a good thing to do. And I wonder if there's any way to set that where you have the info display on the monitor, so you have it on the SDI out, but then you can just swipe it away. That could be cool. or maybe set a function button. And that's not, I'm going to go through all the function buttons and figure out what I want to have them set as. But if you can set a function button to turn on and off the info display on your SDI output, that would be pretty cool. So then I can just like, because sometimes it's like, I want to be able to see the info on my screen, on my monitor, but I also want to have a clean feed while I'm shooting. So being able to switch it back and forth really easily would be nice. You have a 30cm arc under the camera. To pull it back like poor man's RE adapter. Oh, okay. Damn, 30cm arca? Damn. Yeah, I just use, I mean, both of my tripods are Manfrotto. So I've got this like, I don't even know how long this is. 5-inch maybe Manfrotto plate. And this is the longest Manfrotto plate that I've got. I kind of maybe should get another one or two of these. But I've just got it on the bottom of the base plate, and then I just have like a regular, I think I have the plate that came with this tripod on the bottom of the camera I put on, and then that goes into the base plate, and on the bottom of the base plate I have that longer one. Why does that look so nice? I'm just looking at that monitor over there. It looks really nice. Well, that's 3x2 6K anamorphic, I guess. It's just too small at 5 kilos and needs 6. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, of course. If the head isn't built for a certain amount of weight, then obviously it's not going to be great for, if you got a 5 kilo camera and it's not rated for 5 kilos, then yeah, good luck with that. What was I going to do? I was going to try to put this on. Yeah. All right, where now? Oh wait, no. The other thing I was gonna try. Hold on. Where is? I'll use this. Okay. Over here, I have on my director's monitor. I've got the top plate from the small rig. Like the normal FX30 cage, not the Hawklock one that I've got on it now. The regular one. I actually have both. And because I used the Hawklock one, I don't use this anymore. So I'm wondering, will this just happen to line up perfectly? That's there. No, it will not. Well, that sucks. Well, okay. Well, I tried. Now, I gotta try to think, where do I have any spare F22 plates? I know I've got one on my shoulder rig, and I've got 2 on my director's monitor. Where is the other one? Well, no, one's on the shoulder rig, one's on the monitor that goes on my shoulder rig, and the other one is on... I swear, I should have more than 4, though. Okay, what I'll try and do for now, because I'm not going to be able to put that on, and I'm not going to be able to put it on and it be, like, properly attached with two screws. But I'm going to try it with 1, which is not ideal. I don't recommend trying this at home. It's not that big of a deal, but like that, yeah. For weight bearing. Also, it'd be better if I could even put the. I wonder if I could even do it. If I could try to put it. This is how we audio, right? Can I rest that there? There we go. Cool. All right, now if I put that, would it? See, I don't really want to put it horizontal, as you can see, because also I don't know if this screw is even long enough. I don't want to put it horizontal because if it turns, this screw is not long enough. Wow. Would you look at that? That's kind of ridiculous. What Damn, okay. Well, that doesn't work. Okay, so that plan is not going to happen, and I'm pretty sure that the F22 screws are not much longer than this, if at all. So does the Tribex allow fluid movement? Can its counterbalance hold your rig? Sort of. I can actually show you. I'll go get it. Internet. My internet's buffering? Because this is being slow. Like the preview that I can see on YouTube keeps buffering, but according to OBS, the stream has been totally fine. There's been no drop frames. We're at 5,000 kilobits a second. 1.2 milliseconds to render a frame. Like, there's been no issues according to this. According to OBS. So, yeah. But, yeah, like you said, maybe we are buffering a bit. I don't know. That sucks. I'm gonna end the stream soon anyway. But what I'll do... What was I gonna do? Why do I keep forgetting what I'm gonna do? I completely forgot what I was gonna do. So I can put this rosette handle on. I can... That was the only thing, right? Like, because I can put the other plate on, but that doesn't do anything. Oh, and the rosette hand. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm just looking at the picture on the box over here. The rosette handle, at least the way that is on the box, is it's got the rosette at the front. So the rosette is like, hold on, let's put this tube back. The rosette is here. Here. However, I assume this is relatively symmetrical, maybe? I don't know. It looks pretty symmetrical. So maybe you can put it on the other way and then you can have the rosette here, which I think would be a much better position for it if you have a handle on the front left. So then you can have one a little bit more to the back on the right. Now I gotta remember what I was gonna get up and... Oh, Tribex, that's what I'm gonna... Tribex, okay, I'm gonna get Tribex. I did, I talked about this in my video about the Tribex, which was, I don't know how long ago. It was a while ago. When it was like before it came out. Or like I think when they first became available. Because I got mine, that's the thing, I was meant to get mine just before they were like released. And it got sent. And it should have arrived and be like, I might be the first person to make a video about this. I might even beat Gene. But no, it got, of course, FedEx just like didn't deliver it for like a week for no apparent reason. And yeah, so then Potato Jet made his video, released it, and I'm like, oh, wasn't quite first. But anyway. So with the Tribex, with this rig, I reckon what's going to happen is it's going to be able to hold it fine if it locks, but I'll show you what I mean if it locks. Okay, so on there, and this is not level. I need to level this a bit better. Okay, that's better. Now, with this, it's fine. Now, I'm gonna, that is not level either. Hold on. Close enough. Okay. So, this is fully unlocked with all the tension on the, I don't like that the highest degree of tension on the pan axis, not enough. If I fully unlock the tilt axis, it's gonna, like, it can't hold that. It can hold it, if it's like perfectly balanced in the middle, it'll hold it. But if it's a little bit tipped, it's just gonna go. And this is with the counterbalance as high as it'll go. So there's only three steps counterbalance, which is not ideal for like big cameras like this. You'd want more. So with this, you can do like smooth movements. However, because the counterbalance can't handle it, you'll feel the weight, right? So like when it gets to here, it starts going quicker, and it's like, okay, now I have to prevent it from falling more, right? So it's sort of heavier here than it is here. However, with the lock on the side, it's sort of a gradual lock, so it's not just like a switch and it's like, oh, it's locked. It's like, so what you can do is turn it so there's a bit more tension, and this is with all the tension on, by the way, already. So now with the lock partially engaged, it'll slow that down a bit more. And then, you can fully lock it, and then it's like, okay, well then it's like really hard to move, and it will actually stay. Like I can tip it to there and it'll stay, but then the lock sort of like, yeah. And honestly, with a heavier rig like this, it works better using it as like locking it, like just sort of cranking down on the lock and then just sort of using it anyway. That kind of works better with a heavier rig, whereas like that, if you saw that there, it sort of like jumped, like it'll like become unstuck from the lock. That'll happen a lot on lighter rigs. But yeah, so it's like Tribex, not ideal for a rig this size, which is probably, I don't know how many kilos. It's got to be at least 5. Probably close. It's probably more like 10, I reckon. Yeah, that's got to be more than 10 kilos. No, maybe not more than 10. Jean-Paul, I cannot read French. I don't know what that says. I'm sorry. Okay, oh, that's what I was going to do. Okay, on screen here, that's what I was going to do. I'm going to just change back to the film. Wait, I wonder. Oh, huh? Interesting. So, real quick, just discovering more things every minute here. On the main screen, as we found out that if you swipe down, you get rid of all the info on there. But if you swipe to the left or right, it brings up clips, which you can put like metadata for like slate information. So then that could be really handy for, and honestly, yeah, so it's just like slate for next clip. You can go project, you can put it all in a project, lens data, you can put it in as well. So I probably wouldn't do that. Project, maybe. Clips, I might actually do that on my next short film. So then it makes the editor's job a little bit easier, because then the files already have the metadata in there. No one has to go through and like do it manually by reading the slate. So yeah, anyway, what I was actually going to do. I'm going to go monitor. No, I'm going to go record. We're going to go film wide gamut, which is like their log. And then, so if you apply the LUT in the file, I assume that means that the LUT that you have selected in camera to monitor is just burnt into the file. Unless, I don't know, maybe Blackmagic does a thing where you can have it's there, but it's not, and it's just like there, maybe as an extra node in DaVinci Resolve, because you gotta put it in DaVinci Resolve anyway, but it's not like burnt in. So you can still turn it off later. I wonder if that's the case. I don't know. Anyway, let's turn this LUT back on. So we'll go LUT on there and LUT on there. Cool. We got a LUT. Nice. Oh, I'm so excited to shoot with this Blazar Remus. I really wish I had more of them. I need to get more. I want to get the 50 and the 85. Maybe the 125 as well. But yeah, I think the only other thing, actually, I don't know why I'm like saying, oh, I need to do this. I could just do it right now. I'm going to put the other rosette handle, because at the moment, it looks like that's kind of my only option, is to run both. I'm doing it backwards. There we go. Alright. I think my only other option for handles right now is the rosette, because I can't really put a handle on the side here, which is a little bit annoying. So I'm gonna put this one, and what I might do, hope to catch you next live. You're gonna schedule live. No, this is the first live stream I've done in so long. Like, my last live stream was, I reckon, just over a year ago. And before that, I used to stream like gaming and stuff, but I don't do that anymore. But yeah, no schedule for lives, but I don't know, if people want it, maybe I'll try to sort of do them sometimes. But yeah, if you haven't seen some of my video, actually, if you're interested in this camera in particular, which I assume you would be if you're clicking on a live stream about unboxing it, I'm gonna make a bunch of videos about this. Maybe another stream or two. Maybe I'll do a stream at the end, like before I give this back to Blackmagic. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, no real schedule for lives at the moment. So hopefully I'll do another one and I'll see you then. But yeah, thanks for stopping by anyway. Now, how should I do this? What I can do is we can go up here, which is, oh no. Oh, come on. Really? Alright, I'm gonna loosen this. So I can have it the same angle. That's not the same. Why is that not the same? Why can I not get this exactly the same? Weird. Anyway, so I can have it basically the same angle as my left handle, but I don't really want to do that because it then means if both my hands, as I was saying before, if both my hands are at the front like this, then it's going to be back heavy because the camera and the battery are both behind my hands. Like, the only contact I have on this camera is at the front, which is not great. So I want to put a handle back here, but I can't. So I'm going to track subjects, then get frame, and need the camera to hold the frame when using locks to have counterbalance, but have counterbalance hold. Yeah, no, that's absolutely, like, totally. I don't do a whole lot of tracking on tripods. I do a lot of handheld for the most part, and if I am on a tripod, it usually doesn't movement. However, in the last short that I shot, there was a little bit of like tilting, not much panning though, and there was only a couple shots, so there's a little bit of tilting, but there was not really any panning. And I think I used this tripod for the most things, and there was one shot that I used the other tripod for, just because I need to get really low, and this tripod doesn't go very low, but I want to get really low to the ground. Yeah, so how can I set this up? Like, this is an option. You can't see it because the mic's in the way. Let's put the mic over here. It's still in the way. I knew I should have boomed this overhead. Yeah, so I can do this, which is fine, I guess. Having the same issues, slow following it. How delayed are you? Because the preview I'm seeing is 10 seconds behind, maybe. Is the chat really delayed? Are you really delayed? I don't know what's happening. Oh no. Oh no, go away. What is happening? Pressing buttons on my Nucleus Nano here. But yeah, that's sort of an issue with like the slow fall when you let go. That's it. Now you can move it. You can slide if you have a long, like quick release plate, or if you have a long plate on the bottom, you can slide it further forwards or backwards to balance it better. So you can just sort of play with that, adjust it, and slide it forwards. Does it still do that? Slide it backwards. Does it still do that? But it could also just be like maybe it's just too heavy for the counterbalance on that tripod. Yeah, so let's try. Hopefully the audio is picking me up okay there. I'm gonna get rid of this tripod. Like this works, I guess. I don't want to go lower, like, because I could theoretically, I could do that, but that doesn't feel right. So here could work, but then it's like, okay, well, what if I want to put it up on my shoulder? Actually, that actually kind of works. And then maybe I'll just, where are we? I could do that, because like sometimes I just chuck the handheld rig up on my shoulder rather than actually putting it on my shoulder rig. I used to just do that before I got a shoulder rig, because I got a shoulder rig recently, but I noticed on this last short film that I shot, there was a lot of handheld / shoulder rig stuff. It was basically, if it was just at the shoulder the entire time, I would just then put it on the shoulder rig. Or if I wanted it head height. If I wanted it either a little bit lower, it's easier to just hold the camera here rather than like put it on my shoulder, but then also like squat down a little bit. Thanks for the Tribex demo. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, if you want more details on it, like I made a whole video talking about it when it first came out. So I'm sure that wouldn't be hard to find. But yeah, I don't use the Tribex all that much. I generally use the 8100 more. It's more just if I want something that's a little bit lighter and easier to move around, because it is a bit smaller, not by a heap, but it is a bit smaller. Or if I need it to go lower, because the Tribex can go lower than the 8100 can. But yeah, generally I'll use the 8100 unless there's a case where it's like, Tribex makes more sense. Yeah, so I guess this can kind of work, and then this can work for, and I could always just like, how do we do this? Like this works if I want to go like shooting from the hip. Although I like to do a lot of here, right? So like chest height. So I need a handle here. Yeah, I gotta figure out what to do here. But having this handle here should be good. I mean, I guess if I wanted a chest height, I can always just put it there, and I can still use it. It's just a little back heavy, and I can always just like tuck the battery into my chest, and that works fine. So that actually works. And then it's like, okay, well, if I want to go shoot at the hip, either I go top handle, or we rotate this down, and I can go like, well, this isn't even hip. This is more like stomach height. Then if I want to go lower, even more, then I can top handle it. And honestly, I'm impressed by this. But I can't leave that too low, otherwise it'll hit the table that I put on. I'm impressed by this top handle, because this top handle is like the cheapest small rig one you can get. It's like the light one. It's a native rail. It's not like bolted in or anything, but it handles this rig totally fine. Why is that over the top of that? This should go underneath. Let's do that. There we go. I will probably put another, yeah, there. That'll work. Put another Mondo tie right there. Hold them in. But yeah, this top handle, it holds this rig totally fine. Can't wait for the Raid 2 of the Tribex. Sorry, I saw that message a little bit ago. 75mm bowl would be great. Yeah, that's true. Because it's not an actual bowl. It just unscrews. Like, it's just a 3/8 inch screw underneath here, which is not ideal. And actually, I had an issue. I think I mentioned it in my video about it, where it would like, if you had the tension all the way on your pan, it could like loosen that screw, and that was annoying, because it would like start coming undone. But then somebody commented, oh, there's some grub screws underneath, you tighten them, it's fine. I did that and fixed it. So if that is ever an issue for anybody who happens to watch this, you have a Tribex or any other tripod that's similar, if you're turning it and it's coming loose, there may be grub screws underneath somewhere where you can like just tighten them, and then it won't do that. Sure Cinema Lenses sales, and are they on sale now, are they? Actually, you know what sales are tempting now? The DZO Vespids are, no, it's not a sale, it's a price drop. Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to a mate earlier today about lenses and stuff, and he was saying, yeah, maybe it'd be good I could sell my Athena and buy a couple of Vespids, because like you could totally get away with like a 3 lens set of Vespids, and it would be Australian dollars, maybe like $4,000. They'd probably end up actually being similar price to like Blazars, like Remuses. But I also want to get more Remuses, so it's like, do I get more Remuses? Do I get more Athenas? Do I sell my Athenas and get like a whole different set? I don't know. Things are also expensive. Need the new A7 IV. Fair enough. I have the A7 IV. I don't really care about the A7 V, honestly. Like, it's not something that I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for. What I've been waiting for is the FX6 Mark II. Whatever Sony does after the FX6, that's what I'm interested in. And honestly, that's what, like, I've wanted an FX6 for so long. I wanted an FX6. Then the Pyxis came out, and I'm like, ooh, Pyxis is kind of cool. FX6 still kind of better in a lot of ways. But I still wanted one of these. And then of course the 12K came out, and it's like, okay, well, I'm getting a Pyxis 12K. Like that's decided. Unless Sony comes out with the FX6 Mark II or whatever is replacing the FX6, and it's just like a no-brainer, the best, and like that's what I need. I'm gonna get a Pyxis 12K if that's not the case. So yeah. And two, like, I've just bought stuff for this, which I only have for 6 weeks, so I spent money to rig out a camera, albeit very minorly. Like, I didn't like buy a full cage or anything like that. Most of this stuff I already had. I only bought a few things that are specific to either the Pyxis or like L mount. But like, my plan, the reason why I'm like, oh yeah, I can buy a BPU battery, and I can buy a Safe Express Type B card, and I can buy a LEMO cable when I have no use for it outside of this camera. When I give this camera back to Blackmagic, I'll still have them, but I plan on getting a Pyxis 12K this year. Hopefully they send me one for review or to keep. I don't know, Blackmagic. Maybe you could, but it's like, it's I'll still use that stuff, So that's why I'm like, okay, buying a card and buying a cable and lens mount and stuff like that, or lens adapter, because I'm gonna get the 12K. And if I don't, then I can just sell the stuff that I got, or that I can't use with whatever I get. Also, one thing I'm just noticing now, and I noticed it, but I didn't notice it at the start when I first turned this on. And this is something that I remember people talking about when the Pyxis first came out. The viewing angles on this screen are not great. Just on the LCD on the side of the screen. Let the stream buffer, and it's like 8 minutes behind. Oh, wow. So that sounds like it's a your internet thing, because I'm watching it live here, and hold on, we're still waiting. I reckon it's about 12 seconds behind. No, it's been 12. It is ready, and I'm gonna click, and then it starts buffering. It's like 22, 23 seconds behind. That's what it looks to be for me. So yeah, that's so that means I'm reading your chats several minutes before you get to them, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. I appreciate you being here anyway. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying, the viewing angles on this screen, like I'm looking at it like right now, it looks blue. Like there's so much blue, and then I turn and I look at it like straight on, it looks normal. So I wonder if you can actually see that. Whoa, calm down. So looking at it there, yep, looks normal. If I turn it more, Oh, there we go. If you look at it from above, look at that. It looks so blue from like that high angle. Oh, and we even even getting a little flare in the in there. But yeah, so okay, that side to side doesn't seem to matter as much, but yeah, if you go from the top, it gets a lot more blue. So that's just a little thing that is like, okay, if you're gonna look at that monitor, unless you're just gonna like, okay, hit record, even though you can press the record button, or like any settings or anything like that, that's fine. But if you want to see what it actually looks like, you got to look at it like straight on. One thing that I haven't, oh my god, anamorphic just looks so good. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by looking at this monitor and just looking at the anamorphic bokeh. Like this, that's it. But what I was gonna test, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm not dropping the mic. What are you talking about? Wait, where am I? I'm gonna get this other camera back for a sec. Alright, this will probably be the last thing that I do before I end the stream, because I've streamed 3 hours. I was planning on streaming for 2. Now, I should be able to just bring this back. No? Hello? Activate. Properties. A74. Where'd you go? Where is it? Okay, it's not showing up now. Weird. Cancel. Discard. Because that's the cam link. Why is this not working? Sorry. What? I'm confused. Why is this not showing up now? It worked totally fine before. USB streaming. Cool. There we go. Alright. Let's open up the aperture a little bit. I'm cranking the ISO a little bit. Alright. So if we look at, what am I looking at? Now I forgot what I'm doing. Okay. Exposure. That's what it is. Alright. In the corner here. Focus. Okay, can't focus that close. Look at that distortion on this 24. Yeah, so if you look down in the corner, right above where I'm pointing, got the same top handle, super comfort. Yeah, I had this top handle, this was like the 3rd top handle I got or something like that. I'm also gonna move this over so my face is actually in it. But yeah, I bought this, I can't remember, I think I bought this top handle, when did I buy it? At some point, it was definitely well after I got my FX30. And I was just like, I think I was getting some other stuff, and I'm like, I kind of wanted another top handle. Because I wanted another option. I think that I know what it was. Because I had a top handle, the old wooden one, the rotating wooden one, which I don't think they make anymore, from Small Rig. And I had that, and I obviously had the FX30 like audio handle. But I didn't have any other handles that weren't the audio ones. So I was like, I want a regular handle that isn't the audio handle. And I got this one, and like, this is my favorite handle right now, and has been for ages. Anyway, what I was saying, exposure. So if you look at the bottom left of the screen there, we're looking at the waveform, which is nice. So it's got all the colors. And then if we put a light right there, so not only do we see on the waveform that things are peaking, because you can see it in the very, it'd probably be hard to tell. There's probably two, wait, what if I crank the ISO down a little bit? You might, where are we? Oh, the screen went dark, hold on. Okay. So, if you're looking at the waveform, if I bring this light in, you see the waveform itself, it has that little bit peaking at the end. But then also, you have those traffic lights that are right next to the waveform. So that means that the red, green, and blue are peaking. I assume that's what that means. I'm pretty sure it is. But let's say if, what we can do, if I maybe just warm the hell out of this light, take it down to 2000 Kelvin. Well, it still peaks. It still peaks everything, because it's basically white. But it just sort of, oh, wait. Oh, okay, there, in the corner. If I put it right in the corner, you see it's only doing the red, and you go a little bit more, it's the green, and then you go a little bit more, it's the blue. So it's like, it's only getting that like really warm around the edge there, and then it's getting a little bit more green, and then it gets just white, and then it's everything. So that's a cool little interesting thing to know, I guess. Let me turn this off. We don't need this anymore. But yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot in the last 3 hours about this camera. No, wrong one. Sorry. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I just keep like finding out new things about it from just doing stuff. But yeah. Oh wait, hold on. More chats. I got the same. I know you said that. FX6 Mark II will be fire, but it sells so well. Will they ever release it? I'm upgrading my A7 III. Yeah, fair. That's why also a lot of people are like, oh, FX3 Mark II, FX3 Mark II. And for some reason, and I found this kind of silly, that people thought the FX3 Mark II was coming out when they were teasing the Venice extension system mini. And it's like, that's like, there was a couple seconds of video of it, like in the promo. It was clearly not an FX3 Mark II. It was clearly some like niche cinema thing. Like yeah, because it had that plug on the back. It was clearly not an FX3 Mark II. But people were like, oh, is it FX3 Mark II? Is it an A7 V? It's like, no, it's an, yeah. But yeah, fair enough. A7 III to A7 V, just skip the A7 IV entirely. Fair enough. But with the FX6 Mark II, that's the thing with the FX3 Mark II. They still sell so many FX3s that it's not even necessarily beneficial for them to put out an FX3 Mark II unless it's like just as revolutionary, right? Because the A7S III, which is the same sensor and internals basically as the FX3, that was like everybody's vlogging camera in 2020. Everybody had that camera. That was like super popular camera. A lot of people still have A7S3s, and FX3 basically the same. It's like, I think when the FX3 came out, a lot of people were like, it's like the same as the A7S3, but just like in a slightly different body. How is that better? It's better. I don't know if you've used the FX3 FX30 body. So much better than the Alpha body. Like I prefer using my FX30 over my A7 IV 95% of the time, because it's just better to use as a video camera. It also doesn't overheat. The A7 IV can overheat. But that being said, a lot of time for YouTube, I'll shoot on the A7 IV just because full frame. We both need fast internet. I don't know if my internet is having an issue here, because like I probably could have changed to like the ultra low latency, and I'm glad I at least changed to the low latency, because I wonder what normal latency would have been. But yeah, not ideal that you're that far behind. But yeah, FX6 Mark II. I wonder if a lot of people are saying this, like, yeah, it's not like FX3 Mark II, maybe even FX6 Mark II, not going to happen this year. Like, I don't know. I mean, Sony's been releasing things still. They had the Venice extension system mini. They had the new 50 to 150. Didn't they release a new like super telephoto lens as well? The A9 III was last year. I feel like we're due for an FX9 replacement, like something between the FX6 and the Burano. Because the Burano is just like, the Burano is not an FX9 replacement. It's like a step down from the Venice. They've apparently discontinued the FX9, so it's like, are they going to replace the FX9 with something else? But then it's like with the FX6 and the FX3, that sensor, what are they going to do? Because if they make it higher resolution, like make it 6K, how's it going to do in low light? Like, is it going to be worse at low light? And it's like, okay, well, that's one of the big things with that camera is it has such good low light. But if you're increasing resolution, but then decreasing one of the things that made that camera great, is it going to sell as well? Is it going to be as good of a camera? You know, like, I think I'm waiting for the FX6 Mark II. However, I care less now because Pyxis 12K. And, you know, now that at least for the next 6 weeks, oh my gosh, there's a lens cap there. I have it at Pyxis 6K, which this is awesome. Like, I'm very happy that I've got this, and so excited to shoot stuff with it. I'm gonna shoot something with it tomorrow. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna shoot, but it'll probably just be a YouTube video. But yeah, it also works out timing wise too that I just happen to have a short film next week that I'm shooting, so I can shoot that on this. But yeah, like Pyxis 12K is my like plan. I care, and also now too, that was going to be sort of a thing. It's like if I get a Pyxis, whether it's 6K or 12K, autofocus. What if I need autofocus? I still use autofocus a fair bit, especially for like YouTube stuff, unless I'm like wanting to shoot on anamorphic or one of my other cinema lenses. I'll use autofocus. I've used autofocus on the last 2 short films that I've shot. I use autofocus on client shoots when it's just like, it's easier when you're doing like videography more style stuff. If you're doing more cinematography stuff, it can make more sense to use manual focus. But when you're just, you know, shooting the face of somebody that's just doing a thing, or even just shooting like I did some work with a drone company, and I was like shooting a drone. I was like, okay, well, it's easy enough to just autofocus on that. It's easier, especially when it's really far away. For a lot of that sort of stuff, autofocus just makes so much more sense. A lot of time for interviews too, it doesn't have to. So like I could totally just shoot interviews with this, and I think it would look amazing. But yeah, autofocus can be handy, especially if the camera's moving. But yeah, so anyway, getting distracted again. With Blackmagic now being able to do autofocus, now they haven't put it in any cameras apart from the 6K, like the cinema camera 6K, the full frame. They've only got it in that. It's technically a beta right now, and they haven't confirmed anything about it coming to the Pyxis or any other cameras. But given that the cinema camera 6K has the same sensor, the Pyxis came out after it. It probably has a better processor. The 12K has a better processor than this one does. So I don't see any reason why at least the Pyxis 6K couldn't get autofocus like this year, you know? So if it does, you know, get an L mount zoom lens. My plan is when I have a Pyxis that is mine, whether that's 12K or 6K, if it does autofocus, I'll get the Sigma 28-105 2.8, and that's just like super versatile zoom lens. 28-105, all at 2.8, like all you really need, like unless I need the 7200 or further 100, 400 or something, or I need something super wide. But it's like anything in between, like 28 is generally wide enough for a lot of things, especially full frame too, because like, yeah, and full frame, if you need a little bit wider, just go to the 3x2 open gate, you know? Yeah. So that's sort of my plan, is Pyxis 12K, if it gets autofocus, or when it gets autofocus, get that Sigma 28-105, or, you know, if another lens comes out that makes more sense before then cool, get that. But then it's not that sort of hesitancy of like, oh, I want to use my Pyxis, but I need autofocus, so I'm going to use my Sony. Because, you know, I wouldn't mind selling one of my Sonys if I had like, so if this is like my A cam, my main camera, and then, well, actually no, what I would like to do is I go Pyxis 12K A cam, maybe Pyxis 6K B cam, and then just have a third. Oh, actually no, probably not. No. So what I would want, maybe actually, yeah, maybe A7 IV. Because I would want, at that point, if I have like really good cinema camera, well, video cameras, right? So if I have really good video cameras, so if I have some cinema cameras like Pyxis 6K to 12K, and if I use them for like jobs, then I just need a camera that can shoot decent BTS, and it can maybe shoot photos every once in a while if I need it, and it can, do, autofocus YouTube stuff if I need it, which, the FX30 can do all of that, I guess. It's not the best at photos, but it does fine. The A7 IV, again, is fine, but it's like, I don't like using that as like an A cam on a production, because I've had issues before. 2 short films that I've shot, it overheated. One, it just kept having the same issue. I made a whole video about this because it's like, it was so annoying. But yeah, so it's like, I don't want my one Sony camera to be the A7 IV. However, I have only full frame lenses, so I don't want to get rid of my only full frame camera and keep my APS-C camera, So that's the sort of thing. It was like, I want to get, if even if I could get one of these, that is mine. If you weren't here for that, this is not mine. This is Blackmagic's. It's on loan for like 6 weeks. If I have a camera like this or the 12K, that's like my main camera for anything, right? I shoot YouTube stuff on it. I could shoot films on it. I could shoot client work on it, especially if it does autofocus. But then if it's like, if I just need a really small, easy, like nimble package, and it's like, okay, cool, grab the Sony, whatever. If I need a vlog, not that I vlog, but BTS stuff. Like, you don't need this rig to shoot BTS of, like I always have someone, whenever I shoot a short film, I have someone shoot BTS for me. And last time, the last film that I shot, they used my A7 IV. The one before that, I shot. Oh wait, yeah, actually, the last 2 BTS was done on my A7 IV. On the one before that, which was like my short film, which I have not finished editing yet, but that's a whole nother thing. I shot it on the A7 IV because I wanted full frame, because I had some wide shots, so it was like I shot it on a 40mm Athena, meant to be the 33mm Remus, but we shot it on 40mm Athena, and 40mm on APS-C is just gonna be way too tight, so we had to go with full frame, and then BTS was shot in the FX30. But what I would like is to have somewhere in between these two. If there is, and honestly, like, maybe that's just an FX3. The other thing is, FX3 photos, if I do need to shoot photos for whatever reason, it's not going to be as good as like the photos out of the A7 IV. So if they do something to the A7 V to make it better in some way, when it comes to like preventing overheating, then I don't know, maybe A7 V, and I can get rid of these 2. I've also considered selling this A7 IV for an A7C2. Same sensor, better processor, or like same processor, but then it's got the AI chip in it as well. Like some of the newer features, like with the AI stuff, and then like I'm pretty sure it has it has LUT support. This doesn't have LUT support. You can't put LUTs in this. It's so annoying. But I've considered doing that. Go your A7S3. A7S. Wait, hold on. You have an A7S3 and an A7 III? You got your A7S3 November new. That last Sony sale. 33.33. Damn, nice. I assume that's US dollars then. FX3 was much more, yeah. I think the FX3 generally is like $1,000 more than actually, I don't know how much honestly, I don't know how much the A7S III costs, because I've never seriously considered it. Because it's always been, like, when I was first looking at Sony cameras, it was the A7 IV. And then once I was like, video, it was the FX3. And the FX3 is like $1.5 grand, $2 grand more. Yeah, probably more like $2 grand more than the A7 IV in Australian dollars at least. But there's the thing too, like with the FX3, it's like, oh, why didn't I just get an FX3? For the price of an FX3, I could get a Pyxis. So, for the price of an FX3 plus $1,000, I could get a Pyxis 6K, Pyxis 12K when it eventually comes out. So that's sort of a little annoying thing is that I can't just like, I'll just sell this camera and buy that one, because I still need to save the money to buy the new one, because it's not like this will just pay for that, because they're not the same, they're not like equal in value. But yeah, as I was saying, my sort of ideal camera kit would be, Pyxis 12K, then potentially another, I don't know, maybe 2 Pyxis 12Ks, who knows? Maybe an Ursa Cine 12K and a Pyxis 12K. That'd be pretty cool. I currently don't need an Ursa. I mean, I don't really need a Pyxis. I've been using my Sony's fine, but this will be a lot better for the stuff that I currently do and the stuff that I want to do more of. And there's like a lot of like narrative stuff, like doing narrative filmmaking for like short films and stuff like that. Yeah, like a box like this with the features that it has, just so much better than this. And I'm so keen to use this, especially when I've gotten so used to this. It's like, okay, this is new, this is better in most ways. That being said, I obviously still want to have a camera like this that can do video, maybe do photo as well, because like it would kind of suck to not be able to shoot photos if I need to shoot photos, you know. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I don't want to sell the A7 IV, but I kind of do want to sell the A7 IV. But if I sell the A7 IV, then it's like, what, do I replace it? Because I don't want to. I like having 3 cameras. There's not many times that I have had 3 cameras. I currently have 3 cameras right now. And what I'm going to find a little bit annoying is the videos that I shoot about the Pyxis. At least some of that footage will have to be shot on one of my Sonys. So it's like, because I'm going to want to show, like my rig build video, it's going to be entirely shot on my Sonys, because like I need to show this camera in the shot the entire time. So, yeah. Anyway, we've been going way longer than I thought I was going to go for. I thought this was going to be like a 1 to 2 hour stream. We went for 3 hours 20. I'm probably going to call it here. It is late. It is 11:20. So, yeah. How do I outro a stream again? I haven't streamed in so long. Those of you who are still here, thank you for watching. If you missed it, go back and just watch the rest of it. I don't know, there's only 3 hours. 3 hours of stuff to catch up on. If you're interested in the Pyxis stuff in particular, especially the unboxing, go back towards the start. That's when I unboxed it. It's been unboxed. So I unboxed it, I built it, set it up, went through all the settings, you know, learned a bunch of stuff, figured out a bunch of stuff, and then just sort of yapped for a while. But yeah, thank you for being here. Let me know if you want more streams, because I don't mind streaming. Streaming was fun back when I used to stream, and I wouldn't mind just doing like a chatting sort of talking about cameras stream, rather than gaming like I used to. But yeah, let me know if you still want to watch more stuff. Either there's the rest of this stream, or there's all my videos. But if you haven't subscribed already as well, I'm going to make a lot of videos about this camera in the next 2 months. So make sure you subscribe so you can see all these videos about the Pyxis. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye. Hasn't ended yet because I haven't clicked end yet. There's a little anticlimactic. Anyway.